stop for the 2017 Overwatch World Cup, live from Katowice, Poland. 8 teams are going to be vying for 2 spots here at BlizzCon 2017. Welcome, everyone. I'm Golden Boy, and I will be your host for this weekend. We have some great matches lined up, and it's a pleasure to be here once again. And we thank you so much for joining us once again. This is our 3rd stop, as I had mentioned before, and it's been a wild ride thus far. But thankfully, I'm surrounded by a fantastic team to get me through it. Zoe, how are you feeling?
I'm super excited. I mean, I was so excited already for the last 2 stops, and it can only even get better. I'm super psyched to see the games, and I'm ready.
Yeah, and joining us once again from Sydney is Jamerson. That was a good time over there in Australia.
I had an amazing time, and I'm expecting to have just as an amazing time here in Poland.
And then we have Team Sweden's very own, the one and only Reinforced.
It's a Tylenol. Thank you. I made it back this year. I couldn't leave you guys hanging, so I made it back. You know, qualified for BlizzCon, but I'm here joining you guys now.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to have you here as well. It's going to be a great week. And we also want to remind our viewers at home, because you knew it was coming, this first hour is coming at you commercial-free, courtesy of our friends over at T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And, you know, really excited to have them as a partner. I could say that in my sleep now. Guys,
you are
you know?
saying it.
Yeah, I walked past your room. I could actually.
Yeah. No, I sleep talking, and my wife says, "I'm like T-Mobile, T-Mobile." That's great. So in any case, guys, this is certainly going to be a fun weekend, and we're really looking forward to get into it, though. But first, we want to let you guys know how the format for the 2017 Overwatch World Cup plays out. And we have our one and only Malik to take us through it all, and this is how we play.
The 2017 Overwatch World Cup is now within reach, and the world's best will fight, but only one team will succeed. Here is how we play. Only the top 32 advance to the group stage of our world competition. Players and fans from each country vote on their committee candidates to select the best 6 competitors to represent their country. Our qualified teams are seeded through a snake draft based on their country's initial rank into 8 groups with 4 teams in each group. After each team plays a full round-robin battle in their group stage, the top 2 teams from each group will advance based on placement rankings determined by overall scores across their 4-map series. The top 2 teams from each group will make up our final 16 teams and will compete in a single elimination playoff. Only the top 8 teams will advance to BlizzCon and be our 2017 World Finalists. At BlizzCon, the first team to win 3 matches will be the 2017 Overwatch World Champions. Get ready to witness Overwatch history in the making.
And history indeed it will be. We already have 4 teams who have qualified for BlizzCon 2017 to fight for the championship, the crown, for the Overwatch World Cup. And actually, speaking of, we should talk about that, because up until this point, you know, it's been stop by stop, but we already have 2 behind us here. And the first one was Shanghai, and that was certainly an experience.
It really was. It really was. I mean, yeah, the favorites came through. It was France and China punching in their ticket for BlizzCon, but still there were so many standout performances by other teams. Looking at Argentina, Klaus's Tracer, like blew our minds and the enemies up. So I worked so hard on that. I prepared that one actually yesterday already. I was so excited to use it. So I know, learn from the best.
Yeah, I know. Okay. There's one thing I know.
But no, there were so many other teams which really, really like showed us some games on that stage.
Yeah. Denmark, Bastion.
Yeah, Denmark, Bastion, and Norway. I was super, super excited about every game they played. I mean, just the first one on King's Row they had with that incredible stall from Decot on the Winston. So yeah, it was an amazing event, and it was a great way to start off and kick off the World Cup.
Yeah, and also we got to see the Chinese fans and see them really engage and be. It was nuts. Like actually seeing the Chinese team play on the stage, the crowd went bananas for them. It was awesome. But, I think this is a good segue, because speaking of crazy crowds, we got to talk about our friends over in Sydney, Australia. Jamerson, that was quite the event.
You couldn't get a rowdier crowd than the Aussies. They were so amazing. Every single match they were rooting for, it was an experience to behold. You can hear them, the entire venue just shaking every single time there was a kill coming out or a team capturing a point. And it was just absolutely electric and infectious how amazing that crowd was. And then, it all started off with some amazing games coming out from a lot of teams that people expected to be underdogs, particularly Japan.
Yeah, and it's funny, I'm laughing because I'm looking at the video and you see Reinforced Horsch just put his
popping
hand
off,
in the air,
dude.
just popping
get
off,
hyped.
you know, doing you, baby.
Yeah, I loved it.
How was
Got the
playing in
free
front of
look.
that crowd?
Dude, it was amazing. Well, they were hyped and all, you know, they were cheering and stuff. But when I got to the stage, I kind of silenced the crowd. So, you know, I was, they got into a bad mood, you know. I showed up.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
guys. I ruined it.
No, honestly, it was great. It was a great game too, man. That was on Australian TV, which was incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm, you know, something to tell your mom about.
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, "Hey,
She's
Mom,
very proud. Very proud.
I was on Australian TV. It's great. It's great. But yeah, I mean, again, we had two fantastic stops, and you know, Katowice will hopefully be no different because we have 8 incredible teams here. I'm excited for this. And speaking of, let's actually go ahead and talk about the groups and, you know, what we're going to be seeing here today and throughout the weekend. First and foremost, you got to talk about Group E. Now, this is, I mean, we have to address the elephant in the room here, and that is South Korea, because this squad is incredible and reinforced. They're better than last year.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, they win the World Cup, and now they come back, and they got an even stronger squad. Individually, I think that, I mean, every spot on this roster is like top 3 world. The backline with Jude Hong and Toby is what I'm looking out for. Probably the best backline duo in the world. But they brought in Sunba and Mono this year. I'm looking for their synergy, how it's going to work out, how they play together. Sunba himself says that Mono is a bit more aggressive than Miro. So does that mean that Mono will overextend a bit? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Perhaps a weak point in this spectacular South Korea squad.
If there is a weak
If
point.
there's
And real- and
I mean,
real-
let's be real. Let's be real.
And they are joined by, as you guys saw, the Netherlands. That's too easy in the boys. Poland, the home team, and then Austria to round it out. Then on the other side, we have Group F. And Group F, you know, this one headlined by 2 teams, as a matter of fact, because you have Canada and Russia in this group, and both squads look pretty dangerous.
I mean, this is a hard group because what they're really fighting for is the first stop. Both of them are dreading to come second because everyone expects South Korea to be first in the other group, and that means that they have to play them in order to actually get to BlizzCon. And that's a really, really, really tough task ahead of one. So the first spot is really all that matters for all the teams in here, and Canada and Russia definitely look like strong contenders.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it is like the complete opposite of Group E, right? While everyone else is shooting for the second place spot, you are definitely going for the first place spot to try and avoid South Korea, which everyone is expecting to go ahead and get that first place slot. And the thing is, like Reinforce had said earlier, every single player in every single role for the South Korean team, they're at least top 3 world.
Yeah, pretty
at
much.
least. So we're going to have to see what the teams can concoct for that.
And speaking of, you know, we have the potential BlizzCon 2016 rematch between Russia and South Korea, which that is going to be very interesting, considering that, you know, the rosters are very different than what they were, you know, a year ago. So, you know, even for Russia.
I mean, Russia has 2 players in this very roster, which also have been playing at BlizzCon last year.
Yes.
That's Rubicon and
And
Shadowburn,
Shadowburn.
as Unfix couldn't make it. But yeah, so it's a very different roster, but the same goes for the Koreans. So it's not necessarily a rematch of the players, but definitely for the nation.
Yeah,
Rematch for the people.
Yeah.
For the people.
No, but I think this Russia squad is also looking very impressive. A lot of people, they rate Canada potentially first in that group. I'm looking out for Russia. I mean, they have mistakes. They got second place contenders. Playing with 150 ping as Tracer, I mean, that's rough. So now he's going to play on the LAN client, zero ping. He's going to play a lot better. And then you have Shadowburn with the Genji, of course. Sharik playing for E United with his Winston. I mean, their dive is going to be insane. So I'm looking out for their dive. I think they're a really good threat to Canada.
It's going to be really exciting to see the Russian team play. And also, I mean, that Russia-Canada matchup is going to be a fireworks show. So you are definitely not going to want to miss that. And speaking of, because I'm sure you guys wondering what the schedule's like, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, there we go. So we're going to kick things off first with Netherlands facing off against the home team of Poland. Then South Korea takes the stage as they battle out against Austria. Then we have Canada going toe-to-toe against Turkey. And then to close out our broadcast for the day, it will be Russia versus Singapore. We'll break down all these teams and what we've learned as we've spoken to them throughout the week. I just want to say, Singapore, who knows, right? Like, there's a lot of question marks here,
They
especially
could channel their inner Japan.
after Argentina.
That's
And then
what I'm looking
when we got Argentina, I was just like, all right, cool, that's awesome. We got a team that was like scrappy. They didn't win, but it's okay though. They proved their mettle.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like with Argentina, if you go back and look at the scores.
Oh, yeah,
they
super
yes,
close.
they did lose 4-0 against France, for example. but they still gave them a run for the money. Those scores are not actually reflecting how close some of the matches were which they played. So
and then we ended up getting the Japan situation where they told us we're not that good, and then here they are battling for a spot at BlizzCon. Pretty ridiculous, James.
They were incredibly modest when they first stepped in and had our interviews with them. They sold themselves really short, I would say, at the end of the day, with the performance that we had from AKTM, Claire, Jasper, the Arden, everyone on that squad looked like seasoned veterans, and so we were really surprised. And so once they got into that final matchup against Australia, I just want to say that was hands down one of the best matches I've seen in a really long time, and especially in front of that Australian crowd.
Best match of the World Cup, if you haven't seen it. You don't have to take anything away from you, buddy.
Yeah,
but
it was fun.
It was such a fun match to watch because you had so many special things and so many awesome moments. But speaking of special and awesome, who better? And this isn't a T-Mobile thing. Who's better to send it over than our one and only Malik, who's down on the floor. Malik, what you got from you, my man?
Plenty as always. What's going on, everybody? I go by the name of Malik Forte, and for those of you who don't know, I'm the guy who baited the handshake from Siegel and went toe-to-toe with Jimmy Fallon, all in the name of Overwatch esports. You know what? Actually, I didn't bait that handshake. Nobody shakes with the left hand, seriously. We got a lot of good stuff in store for you at this World Cup group stage, though. Me in particular, I'm going to be running around doing post-match interviews, getting some thoughts from some of the players after the match to see kind of how they're feeling. Also, I'll be bringing you guys the T-Mobile Unlimited Gaming Break. I'll talk to a lot of the guys, got a bit of a heat check on how they're feeling going into this weekend of competition. So you'll be seeing a lot of my stupid face on the broadcast throughout the weekend. But in the meantime, let's go ahead, get the show on the road, and kick things back to the desk. Take it away.
Malik, if there's one thing you are not, your face is beautiful, okay? Never change. Love you, man. And it's going to be great because we're going to have Malik out there, and he will be taking on the T-Mobile Gaming Break, and we're going to get a chance to speak to a lot of these players, and that is particularly exciting for me because I have been wanting to hear more from the players. I know that was something a lot of fans had talked about as well, so good news, right? We cover it up. You want to be in the Gaming Break next time?
Yeah, sure, man. Malik is awesome, so I just want to hang. I just want to hang with Malik. Why doesn't he? Why isn't he on the desk, man? Come on, Malik.
I think he was in the backstage, just practicing his handshakes.
With himself, he's just I got this.
All right.
Malik gives a great handshake.
He does. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, it's
a good one.
In case so, guys, that is going to do it for our pre-show here. It is time to get the Katowice group stage started. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Let's jump right into it. It is time for our first matchup of the day. It will be the Netherlands facing off against Poland, and this is a huge matchup with a lot on the line here. Every first game in this World Cup is very important. Actually, this is a good question for you, Reinforced, because when you start your journey, especially in the World Cup here, that first game, how imperative is it for these teams?
Well, we struggled quite a bit, and we had to fix our mistakes, so it was rough. I don't think the teams in this group, they have the same kind of room for error as we did versus Portugal. I think that if you're Netherlands now, you need to win versus Austria and Poland to secure that second place spot. So the first game is you don't want to mess up, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So Netherlands, they need to be perfect here.
Yeah, that's right. There you see Group E. Once again, if you're just joining us for the first time, you're going to see the Netherlands and Poland, numbers 2 and 3 of that group there, facing off against one another. Poland actually the 18th seed in this competition. I'm trying to flick through my notes here because I took all these things here and I just
Netherlands is 15 in case you
15.
15 is the Netherlands.
Oh man,
I mean,
I made it seem so smooth too, and then they had to just put the camera on me right at
Yeah,
that moment.
I know.
You killed me. So good. James, what were you gonna say?
yeah, I mean, this is the first stop where you don't have like a really heavy favorite being the home team here, right? In Shanghai, you had China. In Australia, of course, you had the Australian national team, and this is where this is going to be the first time where the home team actually might struggle up against the rest of the competition in their group.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out. But like I said before, it is time to get this going. It is the Netherlands facing off against Poland. And there they are, coming out right now. Poland and the Netherlands, and I want to say, I just want 2Easy's dance moves. You know?
They're pretty good.
Does they have any?
So,
Where do you get that from? What? Yeah. Okay.
You know something I don't.
Now you need to dance, and we need to see this.
No, I don't.
Camera.
I don't claim to have any dance moves. But you're sitting there. You're saying he's dance move. Bring it
I'm
on.
just saying, he's got something going on over here.
Yeah.
Lord knows what that is.
I learned all my dance moves from the Overwatch emotes, so
Yeah, sure.
I got the Winston down.
This
so.
is
That's the
all
hardest
there.
one too.
That is the
that's,
hardest one. You don't
it's a
understand.
tough one. But
That's
yeah, hashtag Oranje,
Okay.
how they call themselves. And the Netherlands is feeling super, super comfortable going into this competition. They have great chemistry, and they just said that it instantly clicked. Jona and Facility, they are the young bloods of the team, joined by 4 really, really experienced players.
Yeah, I mean, these guys don't. They came in and they didn't expect to be good, from the start. But they just went in, scrimmed, and it just clicked. And on this team, you have a lot of good players. I mean, you have 2Easy, you have Dante in the backline, Morte. I mean, that's a really strong backline to start out with. And then you have Facility, who's actually a really good player. I mean, this guy plays a lot of ranks. He's really high. He's probably top 10 quite sometimes. So
from a pro rank.
So it's a really good Yenny they have available here as well.
Yeah, and there's the Polish team. James, what can you tell me about this squad?
There are many things that are working in their favor for Team Poland here. Many of these players have, in some regard, played together, so they do already have that kind of natural chemistry, right? That synergy, and especially coming with that communication from playing on a team together with Ali6 and more recently OWQQ. So I'm hoping, that kind of synergy will be able to win out at the end of the day. When you bring that experience together, it might just be able to be what topples Team Netherlands here.
Yeah, I think we're looking for the Polish team to kind of channel that same magic that Portugal had in Australia, right? Where, like you just, Malzaza and the boys were really you had some unknowns on the team and the veterans just guided them to victory. Can you see that happening here, Reinforced?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we spoke to them and they had a set game plan, and that's really important. They said they were going to sit back a bit more, poke, take their time. But they don't really have that dedicated shot caller, and that might be their downfall. You want to get those good engages with the Winston and Genjis and stuff, so we'll see if it turns out well for them.
Yeah, and for the Netherlands here, Zoe, what excites me about this team, for one, I've always been like a 2Easy, and by the way, can we just clarify here for the world that it is Morta.
Morte.
Okay, Morta.
Morte.
Okay, everyone, roll your R's. Morta. Okay, and not Morty. Okay, like Rick and Morty.
Morty.
Well, Dora tried to establish the Morty, but
he tried really hard.
He got
tried.
shut down.
Yeah, no.
To say the least. It wasn't pretty, honestly.
Yeah, it was a brutal defeat.
Yeah.
For Team Doa there. But yeah, so this squad, very exciting team with a lot of weapons, a lot of power on this side of the Netherlands.
Yeah, I mean, they're super confident. They are aiming for that second spot in their own group, but I also said that they have absolutely no worries going up against Russia or Canada for the other group than to get the ticket to BlizzCon. So they generally seem very calm and very confident in the roles and how they now set it all up, even though some people had to switch off of their usual main roles. I mean, Yona calls himself a part-time main tank now officially. So yeah, but he didn't seem worried at all.
Yeah, and they also have Crusade, usually a Lucio player, this time on the Diva. But this is a guy I trust to do a good job on the Diva.
He did play Diva, or he used to actually play Flex, that's the thing. Like, he does have to practice on Diva and Zarya, so he was, before he got known for his great Lucio plays, he was that Flex player, and he did actually say prior to those games we're going to see today that he wants to show the world that he's also a very capable Flex player, not just a Lucio.
I'm pretty
he's
sure
so much more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure any main tank or Lucio, you know, they want to show the world, like, I'm not Mr. Lucio or Mr. Main, you know? I can aim. I have mechanics.
I totally get that, and I think that is also a defining factor for this Dutch team because they have a lot to prove. Also, they did play in a tournament prior to this, if I'm correct. They played, I think, in the ECL tournament or something like that. So just to test their mettle, see how well they could do. And I think they ended up getting eliminated by the team that won the whole thing, which was a full squad. Or something like that.
A full Swedish squad. Very important to know.
Oh, yeah, this is super important.
Let's calm down.
Sweden. Yeah, no, but they did really good actually online. Vivis Adventure is a pretty good up-and-coming team here in Europe. So, I mean, they had a pretty good results, and yeah, it's looking good for them.
Yeah, you can't be too miffed about that, especially coming into this event.
Yeah, really good to get that official practice going for them. It's not practice, you know, in a safe environment, so to speak. You know, we got some official matches. There's a bit more pressure going on, so it's good practice.
Yeah, and for a team like this that wants to be able to gel very quickly, that is super important. On the Polish side, though, I guess, what's your takeaway here? How do you think that, because Reinforced did mention that they are going to struggle, or they could potentially struggle with comms, with the in-game leader, with communication, engages and whatnot. Do you foresee that being an issue on your end?
Well, one of the things that Team Poland told us was that they do like to play a little bit more passively, right? They like to take their time, outpoke, and then try to find the right engagements. And I think this might be one of the kind of playstyles you need up against the Netherlands here, who are going to have a very strong dive. But we've seen a lot of times dive falter to a team that can counter-engage, right? They wait it out, they bait out the Winston jump, they focus him down, and then they pick apart the rest of the team once the Winston is down. And so as long as they can stay clear-headed, I think Poland can succeed there.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to jump in to our first matchup of the day. It will be the Netherlands versus Poland. We're going to see how all this will play out. It's time to send it over to your casters.
Hey guys, Dylan Monte Cristo here for our first match of the Katowice stage of the Overwatch World Cup, Netherlands versus Poland. And immediately, I think the first thing we need to address is the Morta controversy. Because here's the thing. All right,
it's a saga now.
You
really.
and I,
the Morta saga.
You and I in Seoul, South Korea, a year ago.
Yep.
Went up to this kid and we said, hey, how do we pronounce your name? And what did he say?
Morty.
He said Morty. He told us to pronounce it Morty. And then every time we saw him after that, we asked him, how do you pronounce your name? And what did he say?
Morty.
He said Morty, right? Including yesterday, we asked him how to pronounce his name and he said
Morty.
Morty, exactly. But today,
it's been modified.
This morning, we find out that he has decided that people will pronounce his name the way he always intended as of today, which is Morte. So there you go.
It's all right. We've laid this one to rest
Morte.
now.
That's right.
I guess
that's it. There's no changing now. You cannot change your pronunciation anymore. It is Morty, and you're going to stick with it from now on. Morte.
Morte. You already messed
Whatever.
up.
I don't know. You do it for a whole year, and then he changes it on us. This kid.
Well, going out to the rest of
lucky he's a good player.
The Dutch team. I'm really interested to see, the Dutch touched on a little bit, but Crusade has been playing on Lucio for the last 6 months, done very well on the transition over to Laser Kittens right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's told us when we were talking to them that he's excited to go back to more of the flex off-tank role because it gives him an opportunity to show the breadth of his skills, that he's not just a Lucio player, but with some off-rolling on the Netherlands side could be a bit tricky for them. They've been practicing over in Europe, but a lot also with their teams for contenders, so there may be a little bit of adjustment time needed. We'll see if Poland's able to score any maps in an upset as we move to Numbani for our first map.
Starting things off with Numbani for our hybrid map. Of course, you can see on the screen we're going to move to Control, Assault, Escort. After that, the loser gets to choose the next map. The highest seed coming in gets to choose the first one, and so it is Numbani.
And so it will go.
And so it shall be, so on and so on. I have proclaimed.
I'm interested to see Numbani. It's actually one of the maps that we've seen less of over the course of the Overwatch World Cup. A lot of teams shying away from that map, but I really like it. I think you've got a lot of ways to attack and defend, even though you typically see those high ground defenses. But when it comes to making adjustments to how you dive or protect that high ground, can lead to a lot of early team composition switches.
Yeah. Well, it's a fun map because you do get to see a lot of creativity on this map, I think, more than some of the other ones. And here we go. We're on to Numbani. Looks like Poland on the attack. Netherlands on the defense as we get things started here for our very first match of the Overwatch World Cup here in Katowice, Poland. You and I have been here 3 times already. This is our third time.
It's our third time here.
That's right. A couple IEMs, and here we are for the World Cup. And we haven't had any organic oil, though. Haven't drank any of that, but we're not robots.
We're not robots, so I don't think we're going to need that lubrication anytime soon.
I don't think so.
Internal lubrication, at least.
That's a whoa! What are you? I told you never to speak of this. I'm not taking you to Shea to Genie later. That's the Chez to Jean.
Your French is
my
amazing.
Spanish is not very good, or my French. I'm just going to speak Korean from now on.
All right.
We're not going to cast the Korean guys today, though.
That's all right. We'll get to it. So
right.
With the Netherlands on the defense, Dante will be on the high ground with Morta. So we're not going to see any kind of Ana play right here. A lot of ease of repositioning, though, to protect the soldier. Facility will be playing on the high ground, and Poland looks like we're going to see much the same thing. So
that's right. Danya coming up with the Soldier 76.
Yeah, it's creeping up right there, and they're actually going to split up and try and come across. Yona in the choke point, though.
I like the idea of sending the Zenyatta and the Soldier up there, because you can burn through the Winston pretty quick that way. He's going to escape. Oh, he can't escape. Jonah does go down. Good start for Poland. They've got a couple kills to start things off, and Netherlands struggling a little bit here as Crusade almost popped out of that Diva suit, and I think we might be in for a pretty quick point A take here.
Yeah, they're actually going to start working on it right away. So the dive worked. Danya with a sneaky flank caught just the Winston on that side of the map and able to execute him as he flies back across the map. Very fast point A take for the Polish side.
Yeah, that was much quicker than I think people were expecting here. Moff now on that Diva, kind of the forward vanguard, along with Too Easy. Or not Too Easy, along with Matt Boy. Just to kind of keep an eye on when the defenses of Netherlands are coming back up again.
Yeah, what worked really well about that dive was they had a coordinated attack on the point, bringing the Diva up to block a lot of the damage with the defensive matrix, and now they're just going to keep on rolling with this cart right now.
Yeah, they're going to try. I mean, they're not really being slowed down at all here. Not yet.
Now, very difficult to defend between point A and B. They're going to launch the Transcendence out and attack.
Wow, and Danya pops attack visor as well. They're going in and kills again for Poland. Just steamrolling over the Netherlands yet more. Facility tries to stand his ground. Smartly doesn't use his ultimate. He knows the fight's already lost, but man, Poland is just crushing the Netherlands in this first map.
And it was just great coordination again. Poland showing a lot of discipline on these approaches, coming out with the Transcendence and only committing really with the tactical visor as well as part of the cleanup. So very smooth movement through the map so far.
Very good. Netherlands coming back in, but they can't even get there in time to stop them from taking point B. And Crusade gets a little bit ahead of the rest of his team and gets taken out. The coordination for Netherlands has just not been there in this round at all.
No, it hasn't. They need to actually stabilize right now, especially with nearly 6 minutes that they have to hold here on point C. Setrox gonna get focused down a little bit. Will be able to jump back to his healers.
Well, good luck, man. I mean, the payload's still moving. There we go. They finally slow it down just a little bit. We'll see what Matt Boy can get with this pulse bomb here once the Transcendence is done. Netherlands going in. There's
gets
the
a nice one.
He gets Morty and Jonah with that. Oh, man, Matt Boy just tearing it up. And Poland, man, I did not expect these guys to come out looking so strong in their first attack round. They've got a lot of talent on this team, obviously, but I didn't expect it to be this one-sided.
Well, Netherlands also throwing away some key ultimates right there, not getting any value out of the Transcendence or the Tac Visor. Payload keeps moving here, even though we can see extended holds on this point C. Poland has not really been stopped at all going through the map so far.
I mean, even if Poland does get pushed back a little bit here, they should feel pretty comfortable. There's a self-destruct coming in. Might catch a couple of that. Doesn't actually. The Netherlands do get a couple kills. Transcendent comes in, perhaps a bit late for Szlapaisos, but it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Poland's got tons of time to build up some ultimates again, and there's really not a whole lot of pressure on these guys.
No, there's not. Danye keeps on circling back up onto the high ground right now, trying to get that advantage one more time. Too Easy is waiting up here on the high ground, watching, lurking from the other side. Not going to hear those footsteps, but he's going to hit him with the Helix Rocket.
Nice reaction with Danya taking down Too Easy. He's going to get finished off by Jonah, but that doesn't really stop Team Netherlands, or Team Poland rather, too much. There we go. Oh, that pulse bomb not getting a whole lot from Matboy. But he is putting the pressure on from both sides at least. So Poland will see if they can kind of pull ahead here. Not this time, as Netherlands commits quite a bit. Still a few ults to work with, and they're looking a bit more stable now. I mean, the efficiency with the ults has been better in the last couple minutes, finally.
Yeah, absolutely has. Finally, we see the Netherlands side trying to entrench themselves in that high ground, get some of those crucial pickoffs, even though they did trade 1-for-1 spawn timers and location, really favoring the Dutch right now.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're able to defend. Yona gets a lot of use and effect out of his Primal Rage in that last fight. They're just going to push through on the low ground right now. Pretty straightforward attack coming through from Poland.
Yeah. Poland pushing up the middle. There's the tac visor a little bit early. Crusade backs away. I think he saw the tac visor was down for the moment anyway. Self-destruct used as well by Moth, but Poland needing to back off a bit here. That was a bit scattered, a little bit too easy for Netherlands to back away and just kind of wait it out.
Well, they did actually force the Transcendent out by using the tac visor, so a crucial support ult is down, and this has been a poking game for the most part from Poland. They wait for those initial picks to come, and they are coming.
Yeah, Poland getting a couple. Danya having to back off a little bit. And that should be the delay for Poland. So the thing is this third point on Numbani, I mean, you do see this a lot, where the first 2 points, point A can be very snowbally or very, you know, one-sided sometimes. And then if that happens, generally point B goes very quickly as well. But then you do see a lot of these holds on point C.
Yeah, absolutely you do. Difficult to stop this map, even with an excessive time bank like we've seen some from Poland. They're going to come through the Transcendence right now and use it immediately.
All right, they're diving in, trying to push Netherlands all the way back to their spawn. There's a self-destruct, doesn't catch anybody, but too easy. Rocking people in the back lines. Netherlands really kind of dominating here on point C. And things have started to fall apart a little bit for Poland.
Yeah, and we really need to see for Poland more D.Va protection onto their back line right now. They have Moth on that D.Va, and they're going to split spawn him right now, stagger the kill. But coming back onto these points, we need to see more protection because too easy, they're walking in as a six-man unit right onto the cart, just making the most simple approach possible. And Too Easy's getting that flank, and there's nobody there with the defensive matrix to really protect those back line.
Yeah. I mean, the worrying thing is now for the last few pushes, we haven't really seen any sort of adaptation from Poland. And here they go again, kind of the same ground level attack, just trying to push forward.
There's Too Easy again.
Used for Poland, yeah, and they got to deal with Too Easy in the back lines. Netherlands dives onto the cart once more. Poland kind of falling apart a bit here. Transcendence for Netherlands now. We'll see if that keeps enough people up. And yeah, it looks like Too Easy is still getting those kills in the back line, and there just doesn't seem to be anything Poland can do to stop it.
The last 3 pushes have been stuffed by Too Easy because they're not playing around the threat. He's been zipping back all the way to the previous point, when necessary, using the rewind on Tracer, and that's allowing him to get these angles. He's playing patient, and he realizes that any kind of engage Poland makes, they're not protecting their supports afterwards. So they're gonna have to try and set up again. Only a minute 20 left for Poland to make this work, and Netherlands coming in with a much bigger ult bank.
A crowd getting into it now, trying to support the home team as Poland tries to finish their attack round here on Numbani. They need to dig deep. They don't have a ton to work with in the ult category. Netherlands way ahead, and here's Too Easy again in the back. They really need like Schlepaistos to come up big on this Zenyatta and chase it back. Pulse bomb comes in. How in the world did nobody die from that? Well, Crusade gets a couple kills anyway, so things going fine for Netherlands either way.
Yeah, zoning them into the self-destruct. Everybody scattering away from the pulse bomb, but that actually leaves them open to the D.Va ultimate, and they're going to get another stagger kill right here. Moth trying to run for the edge, but gets bumped back and then killed by Too Easy.
Man. Poland just doesn't seem to have an answer. And, you know, the thing is, we've seen Zenyatas in this tournament and other tournaments around the world get very, very good at taking out the Tracer in the backline. But in this round, at least, it doesn't look like Schlepaistos is really ready to handle that.
Yeah, he's been having trouble zoning him out. And that time, they tried to commit Danya, too, to getting rid of Too Easy from the fight. Was working, but nobody on the low ground did. Too Easy nearly one-clips the Zenyatta.
That was so close, man. He had to burn the Transcendence, actually. They need to use this. Poland going in. They run into the sound barrier of the Netherlands, and Crusade already with a kill on the tank here. Too Easy, casual pulse bomb. He can use it anytime, may not even need it. Probably just going to throw it in for fun there. Danya pulls out the Dragon Blade, but it doesn't matter. His whole team's dead, and it looks like Netherlands going to hold right here.
Yeah, they are just going to hold with 54 meters towards point C. So They make a concerted effort, but Netherlands fell apart at the beginning, found their groove, though, found the points of weakness in the Polish backline, and then held them for 6.
Oh.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
I know. I was inspired.
I can tell.
Well, Poland, a strong start on point A and point B. Really well coordinated attack, I think, at the beginning of their attack round, but things fell apart in point C. And yeah, we do see that a lot on Numbani, but the worrying thing is they weren't able to handle 2Es in the back. And that seems like kind of a basic thing you should be ready for in Overwatch these days, is that Tracer being annoying back there.
Well, 2Easy's been having very good performances recently, even though he has been bouncing around professional teams.
Sure.
But I think on an individual level, he has been solid. And we see that. And sometimes you have to commit your diva just to camping a backline Tracer on those flanks, because otherwise your team is not going to live long enough, and you're not going to get the necessary healing to complete a push.
Sure enough.
But there's still a lot of opportunities here, obviously, for Poland. Full hold still definitely a chance for them. And they looked very disciplined on their attacks, where they were committing to on some of the at least the initial points on the hybrid map. But from there, they were not really making great use of the high ground as they came in to the final point of the map.
I mean, as you can see on the screen right there, that Netherlands pretty much has to push it all the way. They nearly have to get 3 points themselves to win this map, so a lot of room for Poland to stop things. The big point we're going to want to see them stop it at is point A. If point A gets taken, nearly impossible to hold point B, and then if you're dealing with a point C hold in this situation, then you're a little bit worried, because that payload didn't actually move that far through the point.
Just around the corner. So
yeah, so I think if you're Poland right now, you're really hoping for a point A hold here.
Yeah, you definitely are. And Netherlands will be using Facility on the Genji this time. So high ground dive composition. We'll watch where Yona, Crusade, and Facility are going to move up right now. It is 2Easy on the low ground flank.
Yeah.
And everybody else coming through the central choke point along the road.
Facility just poking away, as you often do on the Genji, getting the backlines a little bit. They're going to send him in with the Winston as
2Easy's already down there on the supports.
Wow, Poland split up a little bit here. Point A being taken very quickly. Man, the pressure just pushed Poland right off the point, and now they're the ones fighting the offensive battle, trying to get back to point A. Netherlands has the defensive advantage.
Yeah, but Facility also died early on, so Danya going to clean up Dante. It's not confusing at all.
Nope, not at all. 2Easy, has to retreat.
That was a good setup for the Netherlands, but Poland reacted well by falling back and protecting the support. So looks like they've made some adjustments in terms of their shot calling about where that diva is going to be, because it was well coordinated. They poked up, forced them onto the bridge, and then 2Easy was already on the low ground behind the bridge when the Genji and Winston of the Netherlands pushed them back down onto that low ground. Could have been a very fast, quick pick, but this time Poland will defend their backline.
It was definitely a rough moment. I mean, they did get 2/3 of the control meter. Only that final tick needed for Netherlands to take point A. They're going to dive in deep. Facility has a Dragon Blade, low health though as well. 2Easy, meanwhile, just trying to find targets. Facility had to back away, and now they're a little bit scattered here. Yeah, Poland getting the kills. Looks like it's going to be another hold for the moment.
Yeah, they are just pushing them back off the point again. Netherlands has been so close to getting a pick to start off these fights, but Poland has stayed strong, and that means there's never been a man advantage here for the Dutch side, and they keep getting foiled.
It's been kind of a surprising attack to watch, actually, because the approaches are so good. The engages look so good from the Netherlands right now, but they're just not able to finish the kills and get those picks.
It's been really close, but yeah, that's good. That means that at least for Poland, that they're trying to adjust from the previous attack round, and that's going to be a nano-boosted Dragon Blade.
All right, meanwhile, Facility pulls out his Dragon Blade. Doesn't get it with the Sleep Dart. Crucial there. Crusade, though, does get the kill into Danya. Facility needs to come up big. And one kill on Shlepaisos may not be enough. Netherlands is slowly grinding ahead here for the moment, though. Poland with the last-ditch effort. And remember, it's only that last tick. They've nearly got point A right here, right now. They do take it. So finally, Netherlands finishes it off. A little bit less time to work with point B, but you usually expect to take this one pretty quickly.
I mean, that was really close, and we didn't get to see the kill on how Crusade actually took out Danya while he was nano-boosted using his Dragon Blade, but crucial. And even though it was just that single kill onto Shlepaisos from Facility, it was enough, cut off the healing, and that allowed them just to stay on the point without any kind of HP regeneration. And now, see too easy. Poking again from the flank. That will be a pulse bomb that will de-suit the Diva. Not quite, actually.
Yeah. You need to get a little bit more damage in than the pulse bomb. It looks like he wasn't quite able to do it. Too easy, not getting a lot with his own pulse bomb, but at least enabling some kills for the Netherlands as they push forward here. Looks like a pretty smooth push at the moment. As soon as they pop Moth out of that mech.
Yeah, but on
take out the other tank too. Wow, Dante just fragging out on the Zenyatta.
I mean, the thing about Poland, though, is that they are actually stalling the cart right now, which is something the Netherlands weren't able to do in this phase. So by throwing themselves onto a 1-by-1, they burned 1 minute off the clock already, and we're still only hitting around the second turn after the point. So there's going to be another opportunity for defense here from Poland.
They really do need to get it stopped soon. Looks like they're going to actually let point B. No, they get it right before point B finishes here. Nice high ground advantage for Dante, able to fire down with that Zenyatta. He's got the Transcendence if they need to. Poland goes in with the sound barrier. That's going to cause the Transcendence to come out for the Netherlands. They try to stuff the attack, the defensive attack from Poland. Pulse Bomb not going to get a whole lot here. And finally, Yona may be able to scatter Poland enough to create some picks for Too Easy. He's trying to take advantage of it.
I mean, this whole time, though, Danya has had control of the high ground and is just raining a shower of bullets onto the cart. Eventually, that problem's going to be solved. But again, a long time has been burned from the clock as they go there. That final attack wasting another 30, 45 seconds of the Netherlands' time as they're trying to push.
It's still 3:30, though. A lot of time left for Netherlands on the clock. Poland needs to dig deep now and hold for just a bit longer. They can't really let the payload go too much farther forward.
Yeah, and also they lost a lot of ultimates in that fight, so Poland needs to win this fight at an ult disadvantage. And Too Easy takes out Danya immediately.
That's pretty disastrous for Poland. His Facility pulls out the Dragon Blade too, looking for that kill onto Cetrox. Nearly has him. He's so low. There's the kill. Crusade picking that one up. And Poland, again, just kind of streaming 1-by-1 onto the point. It's a delay, but they need to actually win a fight here, and it doesn't look like it's happening.
Too Easy has been such a huge difference maker for the Netherlands in this map so far. Gets all of the crucial initial picks, and that's going to lead to this cart eventually getting to its payload home.
Yeah,
and that's going to be it.
They grind it forward, and Netherlands will take the win here on Numbani.
It seems like, at least for Poland, they had that strong initial attack and couldn't quite finish out the map. They made some adjustments, but it wasn't enough. Netherlands came into that final curve with a huge ultimate advantage, and still 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting, actually. I mean, with how Netherlands kind of gave up quite a bit quite quickly on their defensive round, I think this one might end up actually being pretty close.
Well, they also struggled, Netherlands, on the initial point attack. They barely squeezed out the take. It could have easily been a full hold for Poland right there that were reacting. Poland was really playing well around the point, and this makes me wonder if, as we move into, say, assault and control, they're going to be more favorable for Poland, because they struggled with when they were actually moving the cart, attacking and defending. But around the point itself was their strongest level of play.
I wonder. I mean, we are going to that control map next, so that'll be an opportunity to sort of put that to the test and see if Poland can even up the series here.
And also worth noting that that was, of course, the Netherlands map selection. So now we're going to see what Poland wants to play on. And
I wonder.
Yeah, they made it quite close.
Yeah.
Even with a map that they may not have wanted to play, although who knows, Numbani could have also conveniently been their best hybrid map. We don't know that, but
you never know. Well, it's Group E is interesting because, of course, you've got this juggernaut in South Korea, right? Which everybody expects to take first in the group. I think that's a very reasonable expectation based on how these guys perform. That's not, you know, overestimating a team at all. So the battle really is for second place. And, you know, Poland, Netherlands, Austria, it seems kind of up for grabs. Maybe you'd put Poland and Netherlands a little bit above Austria on the initial sort of look at these teams, but there's a lot of room for things to move around for that second place spot this week.
And we've seen so many upsets. I mean, we're coming out of a Sydney stage where not many people expected Japan to do well. There's a lot of expectation on the Finnish national team that really underperformed. So there have been so many surprises, both at a team and even more so, I think, at an individual player level so far, that it's a little early to be counting anything else.
I mean, that's the awesome thing about the World Cup is, as we look at some of these highlights from the first map, is that you've got these situations. Oh, hey, it's me again. Double Doa.
Double
Double
Doa.
the excitement. But
How can you talk twice at the same time, Doa?
I'm amazing. I'm like a ventriloquist and a caster at the same time. Only I am my own dummy.
Wow. Well, I won't argue with that.
It's incredible. It's incredible, really. Lijiang Tower moving right along. Lijiang Tower going to be the second map.
You said it, not me.
Hey, well, I am both. That's like, I think, an example of being in perfect control of oneself. If you are both ventriloquist and dummy.
I believe that is an old Zen Buddhist koan.
I
right
think
there.
so. Be therefore dummy and ventriloquist. Speak through yourself and through the little self sitting on your lap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Got it. Yeah. Pretty sure I read that somewhere. Lijiang Tower going to be our second map here. It's a fake fish pond. Those aren't real fish.
That's because all the fish are dead in the future, Doa.
Oh,
Global warming, yeah.
We know there's birds, though. Birds on Ilios, at least. In a world where only pigeons exist. And gorillas.
Well, on the moon. They were preserved on the moon.
That's true. Overwatch is only pigeons and gorillas, I guess. Here we go. Starting things off on Gardens already. Moth on the Pharah this time. Looks like the pharmacy coming out for Poland. Netherlands running a bit more standard of a dive comp.
Yeah, of course, we do often see the pharmacy on Gardens, trying to make some space, see if we get a lucky knockoff with that concussive blast.
Yeah.
It's a lot of poking, though. As we've seen, Poland said they wanted to play a more reserve style. They are playing that reserve style, and that's a nice kill.
Yeah, Poland taking the early lead here. They are the blue team this time around. Netherlands kind of trapped on that bridge. So dangerous. There's a concussion grenade. No kills out of that, but Moth does force Netherlands back pretty effectively.
Well, Schlepaistos did die late in that fight to 2 easy, so there is going to be an opportunity here for the Netherlands to rush in, trying to spam that bridge right now. They look like they want to come across it with that defensive matrix anyway and engage as fast as they can.
Yeah, no quick res for Poland either, which might come in handy for the Netherlands to capitalize on. Moth, though, just completely untouched. I mean, Netherlands doesn't really have anybody that can deal with this Pharah right now. They need a soldier or something.
Well, yeah, they just don't have...
Oh, Vortigado. Dante got booped. Whoops.
And Dante really struggling with dealing with this Pharah in the backline. Typically, if you have that Zenyatta, you could use that Orb of Discord, swap over to a soldier, and you're going to be in good shape. Netherlands, though, they're not actually going to bite right now. 2 easy. Did use the Pulse Bomb, but he's staying on the Tracer, at least for the moment.
We've been seeing Dante just try to come across that bridge by himself with Zenyatta, which is always a great way to die. Netherlands striking in now with that sound barrier. Getting a little bit of the control meter built up. They nearly got the point flipped. And wow, Facility just rocking people's faces with that Dragon Blade. Didn't get to really see it, but man, he pretty much destroyed Poland. But at the same time, Poland able to actually hold on to this.
Yeah,
finally it gets flipped, but they bought themselves another, 5-7% or so.
And Schlepaistos wasn't in the right place either. He was trying to power up this Pharah, and so couldn't get close enough to actually use the Resurrection. Dies at the end of the fight all the same. So Poland still working with quite a few ultimates, though. Can pop the res on this next one. Self-destruct, be how they engage. Another one comes through on the other side.
And no kills from either of those. Meanwhile, Moth does drop the barrage. A little bit of damage onto Yona. Yona, though, hopping up. He's got that Primal Rage, can't survive it, though. And Netherlands taking the edge in this fight early on. There's the res, though, coming in from Schlepaistos. This is Poland's chance to strike back, but immediately Netherlands responding with even more kills, and they're just pushing Poland back to spawn.
Yeah, that was too many people isolated across the bridge without support. So nice target selection from the Netherlands. They are able to stuff the Resurrection and keep that point under control. Nearly at 50% right now. It's been a back and forth map in terms of the actual control percent.
Yeah.
And Poland used a lot of their ults right there.
Matt Boy, I think that ended up going onto the shield just at the last moment. Yona does go down either way. Poland slowly grinding their way back. See if they can keep the kills coming here. Netherlands falling back to the point, but they're a little bit scattered here. And now Facility coming in with the Dragon Blade. He's got the Transcendence to keep him safe too. And so Netherlands looks like they're going to hold it in the end, despite Poland's attempt to flip this point.
Matt Boy right there thought he was going to be safe because he was being followed by a Diva with the defensive matrix, but it was a good dash from Facility on that Genji to cut him down and make sure that the DPS was cut off and sent back to spawn.
Yeah.
Now everybody going to be resetting.
It can be, if you're running the pharmacy, it can be tricky to retake this point. I mean, you really want to grab it early and then hold people off with the rockets. It's hard to be aggressive and get to the point with that pharmacy.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah. We're seeing that now. Too easy coming in. Pulse Bomb gets eaten, though. They've got that sound barrier to try to keep the kills going, though. Barrage, not really getting anything for Moth at all. Both barrages not really accomplishing a whole lot for Poland. They're on the point, they're struggling. They really need Matvoy to get a little bit more, maybe. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. Yeah, we're into OT already. Netherlands with 99% here. Poland with the sound barrier on just 2 people as they try to keep the map going, just trying to hold off long enough for the respawns to come in. And they do. Poland getting people back to the point. So Paisto's pretty close to the res.
Too Easy's just cleaning them up, and they can't get back on the point fast enough. So Netherlands turns it on its head. Strong early capture from Poland, but like you say, Doa, when you're running that Farmer-C combo, it's about controlling the choke points on that map because you have so much vertical space that the fall-off damage from hit scans is really not as impactful, but you can just continuously bombard the bridges.
Yeah.
And although that was successful at first, as you noted, difficult to retake, especially if the Mercy is covering the Pharah at that time, because if everybody dies on the point, you've got 2 people who are back, it turns into a 6 versus 4, and somebody has to go down there and contest it.
To be fair, the Netherlands were doing a very good job of shutting down Schlepaistos and like keeping him from getting in a position to build a lot of ult charge to begin with, and then once he had res, keeping him from getting in a good position to use it. So here we go on the Night Market. Remember, these are best of 3 control maps. If Netherlands can win this round, they will take the map and go up 2-0 in this series. Poland getting pushed back a little bit already. Netherlands, they ran forward so quickly, and they were able to get that early angle to sort of force Poland back. That said, Matvoy does pick up the first kill of the round. Netherlands needs to play it a bit safe.
Maybe have gotten too quickly. They get a D-suit, but that's not a major victory for the Matvoy. And Too Easy battling on the point, but Schlepaistos will ruin the 1v1 and pick up the kill.
Yeah. Poland on the point. Looks like they're going to take it. All right, so an early lead for Poland here on Night Market. I mean, it's what we saw in Gardens, too. They were able to get that early fight win and get the control percent rolling first. But holding it once they lost it, or retaking it, I should say, once they lost it, that's where things kind of became a bit of a struggle for these guys.
Well, we are seeing mirrored compositions this time, so they will be able to fight and dive in that close range. That said, D-suited D.Va is the first target.
Of course, pretty easy target. Matvoy does get the kill on Morta, though.
Facility,
that was
10
really close,
HP.
Man. That ninja was nearly toast.
Too Easy going to come around on Schlepaistos right now. Doesn't need to use the pulse bomb, crucially, in order to get the kill.
All right, well, Too Easy. The roaming killer. The silent killer. Well, he's not very silent, is he? I mean, Tracer really does kind of shout a lot of stuff.
Shout a lot of stuff, makes noise when she blinks.
Yeah. All right, Dragon Blade time. Facility pulls it out. 1 kill already on the tank. Moth, you can't absorb the blade. And Poland finds themselves kind of short man on the point here. Looks like it's going to be a quick flip for Netherlands.
They still get to 55% though, and only down really a self-destruct. Everybody else coming up on their ultimate, so Poland has a big opportunity to use that Dragon Blade to try and push through and recapture. As long as they can bait out Dante's Transcendence, they'll have an opening.
Optimistic pulse bomb from Too Easy here, but it's all about keeping Poland back. It's all about building that percentage now since Netherlands just took it.
Well, he did get the damage down, but onto the D.Va, but not quite enough, of course, to fully force the D-suit.
Yeah.
Just healing up on the other side. Dante does get a very important pickoff onto Danya. Takes out the Genji, so that'll delay Poland's attack.
Feels good, man. Netherlands with some ults to use, too. You gotta be efficient. Poland coming in with a big ult bank of their own. Gonna start with the sound barrier here as they dive in. Self-destruct's used. Ooh, Crusade picks up a crucial kill on Setrox. There's a Transcendence from Poland, but they're down a tank already. Meanwhile, Danya does pick up a couple kills with the Dragon Blade, so it's pretty even off the bat, but Netherlands, in the end, pulling ahead in this fight. It looked like a good start for Poland, but Netherlands hold strong.
They do, and they're trying to get back onto the point, still making an attempt there. They do manage to flip it, but that quickly goes back the other direction. And Poland, that was a huge commitment when it comes to ultimates. Netherlands much more disciplined with their ult economy.
I mean, the only reason Setrox still has his ult on the Poland side is that he died before he could use it, really.
Yeah, Facility going to have the Dragon Blade right now. No protective support ultimates for Poland, so Facility has a big opportunity to deal damage.
Yep, coming in now. Morte with the early kill on the tank, though. That's a big one. for Netherlands to start things off. Wow, both supports fragging out on the Netherlands side as we watch Visility waiting for a moment to pull out that Dragon Blade, but it doesn't look like he's really even going to need it here.
No,
he's a bit
great
low.
discipline. He is just hopping right back into the healing field from the Lucio, knowing that this ulting Winston from Cetrox isn't going to be able to do any true damage.
Not a whole lot.
Back off until the Primal Rage ends. And now it's time for the Dragon Blade.
Oh, dude, there's no defense at all for the members of Poland on the point. And Netherlands up to 99%. They are going to take the map. And that is going to be that for Lijiang Tower.
That is. And you know, Doa, that was another instance where we really see Netherlands having a good ult economy and Poland struggling to keep up with it.
Yeah. I don't know. What can you say? I mean, at this point, it's been too... You know, well, I want to say Numbani was a bit closer than Lijiang Tower was. Lijiang Tower, you know, was pretty definitively Netherlands' map once they got that retake. Poland was able to grab the point first both times, but they just had a really hard time retaking it once they lost it.
It seems like when we think about Numbani and we think about the way that Lijiang Tower played out, that they're very good if they have time to set up that initial attack. But once they have to adapt on the fly, they seem to be having some communication issues where they can't really adapt in real time to the game to what the Netherlands is doing, and only when we have these breaks are they able to make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, so we are going to have a little bit of a moment here for these guys to regroup, right? We're going to have a little bit of a break so that, you know, maybe Poland can kind of dig a bit deeper, find a way to come back in the series. It is a 4-game series, so if Netherlands wins one more map, they are going to be the winner of the series, but Poland still with a good chance, I would say.
Well,
to
every map matters too, as we've noticed so far in the World Cup. It makes a massive difference what your map score is.
All right. Well, Lijiang Tower down, Numbani down. Our next map is going to be the assault map here too. So Poland with, you know, we thought maybe these guys would, you know, be a little bit better at fighting on the point because of how we saw things go on point A. Numbani didn't seem to come through quite as much. But what would you say the main takeaway for Poland is here? What do they need to work on coming into match three?
They need to be able to adapt better in game. It seems like when they have a breather between maps or between points, they are able to readjust, but they can't seem to fully do that in game, whereas Netherlands seeming a bit more fluid. Also, just be more conservative, I think, with their ult economy. Try and get the proper engages down and chain their ults together because they've had big advantages and haven't been able to capitalize.
All right, well, let's throw it back to the desk to see what they've got to say about those first 2 maps.
Thank you so much, guys. And Netherlands, if you're just joining us, are up 2-0 against Poland here in our opening matchup of the day. Guys, this is certainly, I would say, kudos to Poland on a good start in Numbani. Definitely did not expect that coming into it. James, looked like they were rolling right through.
Yeah, they definitely did, and we do see a lot of teams struggling on that final point of Numbani, but the way they started off on their offense looked fantastic, and of course, on their hold on point A initially up against Netherlands, I mean, they burned off about 2.5 minutes up against them, but it looked like towards the end they did struggle to figure out what their game plan was, and it was kind of the same story also in Lijiang.
Yeah, I think, I mean, on Numbani, it might have been the Netherlands didn't really give Poland as much credit as credit is due to them. They were, I don't want to say wasting some ults, but they used them a bit more careless. We had the Transcendence just kind of randomly being thrown in. A Visor also I saw, which kind of didn't do too much. And it continued like that up until the last point where they started to be a bit more careful about their ult economy.
Yeah, I just think Netherlands had like such good control throughout the series, really. And when they established that on the 3rd point of Numbani, I mean, Poland just struggled, but they came out good, Poland. I mean, they took positioning really well on the 1st point of Numbani. They played a slow, tactical approach, and it kind of snowballed off on the 2nd point. But yeah, Netherlands, very firm, solid defense.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed with Visility as well. He had some good moments there where he was really able to shine on the Genji. Yeah, I mean, even in the Lijiang game, I think it was, he got like a 3K with one swipe or something like that. Yeah. Pretty good so far. So not bad. One thing I will say, and this is, I guess, more about tanks here, Reinforced. I want to get your thoughts here. I had noticed that there was a lot of weird ult usage for the Poland side there. You know, do you think that was just like fat fingering?
Yeah,
or?
No, not really. I think on the 3rd point you're referring to on Numbani, yes. Well, Netherlands kind of pushed up to the payload, but Poland captured the second point. So you know, Poland was trying to get to those stagger kills because Netherlands was so close. So you wanna ult. I mean, your leap is 1.5 second cooldown, so you can just like go wherever you want to, really.
Yeah.
So you're just diving into the spawn of Netherlands, trying to get those pickoffs, those kills, because you get a lot of time. You know, Netherlands have to set up. It takes 10 more seconds, and you get some good push of that.
Yeah, it really seemed like they were hungry for the kills. Which,
yes.
You know, sometimes it's a good thing, or you know, maybe a bad thing. Who knows? But I do agree with your assessment there. All right, so then moving on to Lijiang. This was a much different beast here. Netherlands looked very strong coming out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, Poland was the team which captured first. However, they just weren't able to actually hold on to those points. Every time they lost them, they couldn't regroup or position themselves or even engage in the right ways to actually take that point back. And I think that goes back to maybe a lack of coordination and also a lack of adapting to what Netherlands team is actually playing.
Yeah, on Garden we did see that we did have the Pharah swap off. Martha, who was playing the D.Va before, swapped off onto Pharah, and that had to force Danya over onto the D.Va. And it looked like Danya was struggling just a little bit with that D.Va, his defense matrix timings. And it goes to show that experience can really pay out here. And we saw the experience of Netherlands really taking hold there, especially with 2Easy really going off on that Tracer, coming up with some really clutch moments.
Yeah, well, I just think that Poland stayed on the Pharah for way too long there. I mean, it's a nice pick to bring out, especially with the Mercy. I mean, you can kind of play around a single Pharah. You know, his 200 HP is pretty easy to deal with. But when you bring out the Mercy as well, I mean, there's just so much sustain on the side of Poland. So, but I think they stayed on the Pharah Mercy a bit too long. It was really hard to retake. I mean, swap off to Danya's Genji. He's known for his Genji. So, you know, you get cleaner dives, easier to retake the point.
Yeah, and I mean, Netherlands really did a good job in focusing down Schlepheistos. Did I say the name right? I'm not entirely sure. Schlep. I call him Schlep. Now that sounds awkward, but okay. No, I think they did a really good. Thanks. I think they did a really good job in focusing down at Mercy and really making it even harder for Matt on that Pharah. And I mean, his 2 barrages didn't really do too much.
No, it pretty much just forced a Winston ult, and a Winston ult doesn't hold a lot of value. Unfortunately, not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They're
really
there.
bad. Yeah, it's not fun.
So now we're getting ready for map 3 here. It's going to be Poland's pick, as you guys may know. Maybe you're joining us for the first time here for the Overwatch World Cup. The loser does pick the next map, and in this case, Poland will make the pick. And if you are a betting man, I would go with Horizon Lunar Colony. Am I wrong in making that assessment?
Do I take the spot of Flame now?
Yeah.
Do you want the Flame
but Flame
spot?
was wrong pretty much all the time, right?
Yes,
yeah, that's what I've heard.
There is no right and wrong. We're not. That's not what it is about.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, there is.
No,
There's a lot of
Let's always tell you otherwise.
I feel a lot of...
No, because if he picked Lunar and it wasn't Lunar, but they ended up losing, then he can still say they were wrong in not choosing Lunar because they could have won. I'm just saying, Flame a man, I got you back here.
Overwatch.
So what do you think?
I'm not a betting man, Alex. I'm not a betting man. But if I was, I'd go with Horizon Lunar Colony.
Okay.
Simply because Poland is the underdog in this series, I think, and it's just easier to go onto a map where you think you're more level-headed with your opponent. So I'm going for Horizon Lunar Colony. Perhaps a mistake.
And James, I want to get your thoughts here on Poland. Can you see Danye bringing out the Reaper here? Because we've seen Reaper on Horizon quite a bit.
Yeah, he did say he was comfortable with the Reaper, and it is a really great point B, especially in point A, to bring out that Reaper, because you do have to play initially on point A really close quarters. You have very different avenues of attack, and you know, going with the Horizon is much better than going with Volskaya, which does have some more, I guess, variables you could throw in there. You see the Sombra play often, which while you can play Sombra on Horizon, it's still a little bit difficult to play with, and teams really haven't fleshed out that kind of strategy yet.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough, I think, for Netherlands, because they have no idea, right? I mean, for all you know, hey, Poland could just go with standard, right? Maybe they throw something else completely out there that we don't even know about, right? Anything is possible.
Yeah, I hope they bring out the standard soldier play in this scenario, especially on attack. We saw them take the tactical approach on Numbani with the soldier, and I think it kind of suits Horizon Lunar Colony as well. I mean, on the first point, you take the high ground on the right side, and you have a lot of room to work with the soldier. And on the second point as well, I mean, if you go on the right side on attack, you have a lot of high ground to work with on the soldier. So if they take the same approach as they did on the Numbani, I think they're going to have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's what they're hoping for, but how can Netherlands respond to this, Zoe?
I think if they just go with what they're comfortable with, they're going to have a pretty good time on Lunar. And generally, I feel like Lunar is one of those maps where you get punished quite heavily, fairly fast. You know, like if things aren't quite working out for you, it's way too easy to take that first point really quickly, and it's really hard to regroup and recover from a first mistake there. And then if the other team, which is attacking, snowballs from there, it's, you know, like it can get punished too hard on Lunar. So I would very much hope to see both on comfort picks.
Yeah, and especially if you're playing the soldier like Facility did in the start of Numbani on defense, and they got rolled by Poland at the start. So if Netherlands opt for a Facility playing the soldier here, I'm not really going to agree with that. I don't like when they sit back that far. They did really well with when the Facility popped off on the Genji, so I want them to play that aggressive style, kind of take their engagements like they did.
Feels like they thrive when they're aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm if you're Netherlands, I think you need to play to your strengths. That's always a very important thing to do. Poland, of course, looking to get that first win would be huge for them, James.
Yeah.
If they're able to make this one happen. The crowd roaring for them when things, you know, go their way, and certainly they don't want to disappoint in front of their hometown. But I did get word, though, that we are ready to go for this game. Game 3. It's going to be Poland's pick, and we're going to see what they go with. Over to you guys, Monte Cristo and Doha.
Hey, we're back. Doe and Monte Cristo here for part 2 of the Netherlands versus Poland. 2 more maps to decide if Poland can tie things up or if the Netherlands will get their first win here at the Overwatch World Cup group stage in Katowice, Poland. And I gotta say, Monty, I'm a little bit worried about Poland here.
I mean, I am too. They have to find an answer to 2EZ. Even against the Pharah, he was unwilling to switch off of the Tracer and instead preferring just to take the battles directly onto the point and dare that Pharah to come down and contest. And it will be Horizon Lunar Colony selected by Poland, a map that we saw a lot of in Shanghai and less of last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, in Sydney.
Yeah. It has been interesting, and it's been a fun map to watch too, because it's kind of the map that people have been experimenting the most on in this tournament. We've seen a lot of these Reaper strategies, we've seen a good amount of Torbjorn on there, and it's a new map, you know, so you're gonna see people try some crazy stuff once in a while. Hashtag wait for Korea, hashtag.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun though. I love this map.
Again, Poland is going to be utilizing on the defense, looks like the Ana Zenyatta, or Ana Zenyatta combo. There we go.
Ana Zenyatta.
Ana Zenyatta combo. So typically what we've seen is when this combination is there, they play spread out on the high ground and try and find the Discord Orb targets and the Sleep Dart targets, and then have the rest of the team dive into the choke points in order to deal with it. So we do see that spread upper level defense from Poland right off the bat. As you say, there's been so many different styles of attack and defense on this map so far. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites in Overwatch.
Oh yeah, it's certainly got a lot of the most variation that we see out of maps these days. But we do see a lot of what Poland's doing, that wide spread out defense here on Point A. And as time has gone on, we've seen more teams be able to successfully full hold Point A, which early on in this map's history was kind of something people thought was really tough to do. But we're finding out now, it's with the proper strategy, it's doable.
Yeah, you can see playing with the terrain right here, but they are going to dive in onto the choke point.
All right. Vizildi going in. But Morta dies very early. Another kill comes in. Matt Voy taken out by Vizildi. 2EZ though, still free and clear on the side to poke as much as he wants, and he may have Cetrox in his sight. Looks like the monkey's going to get out just in time. But when things are all said and done, Poland holding pretty well.
Yeah, they are, and they're playing around the health pack right now, but they're still not going to actually pick up the kills, so they are going to hold on to it. And for the time being, Poland showing that discipline and the advantages you can get from playing that high ground. They need to all reset up onto the second level right now.
Yeah.
And get those sight lines through for the Ana and the Zenyatta, but a very nice initial defense by the Polish team.
And 2EZ lurking around the back again, trying to find those picks. Maybe he can find Shlapaisos there. That's who he's looking for. This is Zenyatta, avoids it. 2EZ has to back away. That Orb of Discord is certainly dangerous, but Shlapaisos hasn't really been, it seems like he hasn't really been using those right clicks to try to take down 2EZ. Meanwhile, Cetrox does get the kill on the Dante. Okay, that's a good start for Poland.
There's a back cap going on though, and now finally Matt Boy has to come and contest this. Does have an Orb of Transcendence on him, and they are going to clean him up just before he would get that first tick.
Ooh, that was close.
So a little bit interesting shot calling right there. Tried to get the Tracer on the back cap, but there wasn't enough time to quite get any progress, real progress done on the point for the Netherlands. In the meantime, Poland took the 6v5, won it, doubled back, and took 2EZ out. So the Dutch team wants to get it together right now. Too Easy's been holding onto that pulse bomb for a while, hasn't found the right opportunity yet to use it, and Schlapaisto's going to get slammed into the corner.
I believe I can fly. Well, you can fly if Winston's punching around, gets the Transcendence out for Team Poland. They're going to go back in for some kills. Morte does die on the Netherlands side, and despite that aggressive move from Netherlands, Poland going to continue to hold here.
Has not really been a lot of adaptation from the Netherlands either. Facility backing off with the biotic grenade on him and is going to have to get healed up and then reapproach one more time.
Yeah.
Poland continuously resetting onto the high ground, and they haven't found the necessary really weakness in the defense here.
Well, like we were saying, I mean, Point A is becoming much more full holdable as teams get better at these bigger defenses, these wider spread defenses like Poland's doing.
Nice sleep dart.
Facility hit with the 6 sleep dart from Tank. Well done on the side of Poland. Netherlands does grab a couple kills here, though, so it might be an opportunity to bolster forward.
That is absolutely huge. In that little room, the self-destruct doing some work, but it looks like they're going to be countered. Danya and Math getting kills of their own, so Poland will stabilize here. Only about 50 seconds remaining for the Netherlands.
Yeah, now the Netherlands are going to have more ults to work with what could conceivably be their last big attack. So it's kind of one last push with ults to try to make something happen here. They're going to have about 35 seconds or so when they go in. Yeah, I'm going to be right about now. Facility has a Dragon Blade, coming in. Oh, but there's a nano boost onto Cetrox on the other side, and Madboy gets a kill into Dante early on. Sound Barrier comes out for Netherlands now, but they're already down to support. They do strike back in Facility. If he can get this kill into Schlapaisto's, that would help out a lot. But Moth, meanwhile, cleaning things up for Poland, and it looks like Netherlands is just maybe going to get full hold here.
They might very well.
Well, actually, coming back with some late kills.
Yeah, Facility
things around.
Facility distracting them off in the Baby Diva form cut down. So barely in the nick of time in what will be overtime. Netherlands looks like they are going to be able to cap Point A, but that was so dicey. Facility didn't get a lot of value out of that Dragon Blade.
That was so close.
Yeah, it was extremely close. Overall, Poland is going to be switching up their composition yet again, going for the Lucio. Don't necessarily want that Ana. You want the AoE healing on the point, and also hard for Ana sometimes to get through choke points if the enemy team is already attacking Point B.
All right, well, Netherlands has to go in fast here. They've only got about 3:30 to take this Point B, and Point B is the one on Lunar Colony that initially was the point that a lot of teams were struggling to attack. Ooh, but Cetrox goes down. Good start for Netherlands. They've got to back away, though, as Madboy gets a kill with that pulse bomb in the back lines. And Netherlands, they can afford to make this into an economy push. They're not doing it quite yet, but times aren't dire just yet.
Maybe not the best idea to try and zone out here with this self-destruct. Netherlands working their way up towards 6 ultimates. They're playing it very conservatively right now, want everything available to them. Now they know because of the Lucio swap that there's not going to be a sound barrier coming up anytime soon.
And that's the right move, I mean, you've got time. You're close to 6 ults, so just do a couple eco pushes, poke in a little bit. Don't
Too Easy.
And then Too Easy gets 2 kills with the pulse bomb. Oh man, Netherlands just storming in.
That is such an insane opener. Even though Too Easy dies, Facility here with the TAC visor going to get healed up within the Transcendence, and it looks like Netherlands going to have a pretty successful attack right now. Lots of time on the point at the very least.
Yeah, they may just get it here. Last ditch effort to defend for Poland coming in. The Dragon Blade is out for Dante. We'll see if he can pick anything up with it, but the sound barrier denying the damage for the Netherlands. Crusade gets the kill on that Genji. He's out of the way, and all they need is a tiny little bit, 2.5% required to take Point B here for the Netherlands. Poland fighting for their life. Moth popped out of the Diva suit, and that is going to be it. Netherlands with 2 points, nearly unable to take Point A, but then getting a pretty quick Point B.
And Primal Rage clutch at the end because it bopped people off of the point to make sure they could maximize the amount of time in the time bank, really prevent the Polish team from stalling that one out. But Too Easy opening things up for the Netherlands side one more time. And those picks were the go button. They had the 6 ultimates as well, and really only the Transcendence on the side was available for Poland. And once you're already down 2, that Transcendence's value goes way, way down.
Well, Too Easy really has kind of been the trump card for Netherlands in this one. When things have been down, he's been the one kind of making the plays to get things going back in Netherlands' direction again. And Poland, so far, as of yet, still doesn't seem like they really have much of an answer for his Tracer.
Yeah, and you can really see the Dutch team's coordination too, because you could see they were waiting for that big 6-ult push, trying to get Facility up after he swapped over to the Soldier into the TAC visor, and they immediately reacted to the kills coming in from Too Easy, made the all-in play.
Yeah.
And made a quick work of point B after struggling again. Poland holding well on point A all the way into overtime, but it seems like when we look at the Polish team, if things are going well, if that first push goes well, they look strong. But as the game goes on, if they don't have that time to reset, if one plan fails, they can't really adapt or reset up these defenses on the fly.
You know, another part of it seems like they really need to keep Moth alive. They need that D.Va in there, absorbing damage to kind of keep the team standing. And if you've noticed a lot of these fights, the ones that Netherlands have found success in are ones where they're able to eliminate the D.Va early, like get Moth popped out of the suit at least.
Yeah, indeed. A huge part of the current meta is playing around that D.Va.
Is.
And we're going to see Dante coming back with a Sombra and Danye on the Reaper. So this is a short-range composition from Poland. They want to just speed boost onto the point as fast as possible, but they're going to get jumped on.
That's
and Facility.
Ooh, wow, triple kill with the dash. Are you serious? What a shift button. Which one is dash? I don't play Genji. Shift, right?
Yeah.
What a shift button press by Facility.
And look at this. Goodbye. It's just throwing yourself off the edge onto the moon. You know, that wouldn't actually hurt you on the moon.
Why does that hurt her? She didn't, you know, hit anything, wasn't falling very fast. I don't know. I think there's something else going on in there.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be that painful, but
I've got big lore issues with what happened to Moth just right now. That's not how the moon works. That's not how the moon works. I've never had to yell that before.
Well, I'm glad you had the opportunity here today, Noah.
Me too. Danya coming in, trying to stay alive. He's got Wraith form, but they take him out so quickly. I mean, the idea with this Reaper is that you become this battering ram, and you protect the Reaper, and then the damage he does take is healed by your supports. Here we go again. No, it's not how it works. It's going to be just like a pile of divas on the moon at some point. But so, you know, going back to the strategy here, I mean, the idea, and they're switching it up, is to run Reaper in there, and whatever damage he takes gets healed by the supports or his own passive now, which makes him generally very hard to take down. But the Netherlands have just been diving hardcore and eliminating him early. There's the EMP now from Dante as Netherlands goes in for a very aggressive defensive fight, and Facility basically unleashed to do whatever he wants, and that is a pretty resounding defensive fight win for Netherlands.
I think we could say there that they probably didn't have to use the Dragon Blade, but at the same time,
sure,
they do basically have 4 other ultimates useful over the next 2 minutes. So
I mean,
you might as well shut it down very quickly.
I think that's reasonable. If you say we're going to EMP and then Dragon Blade, you know, that's just the plan going into it. They didn't end up beating it, but it still is ult efficient to say we're only committing these 2 ults to the fight.
And we are looking at Too Easy right now, trying to find an angle for that pulse bomb. Not going to stick it.
Ooh, that was close, though. Too Easy looking for a little bit more. Facility already does have the kill onto Matboy. And so Poland a bit scattered. They're already kind of backing away. And Netherlands holding 2 minutes, or I'm sorry, 1:30 remaining for Poland's attack round.
And this is a really forward defense that we're seeing from the Netherlands. Sombra, of course, trying to poke out, get that EMP back, does immediately fall back and translocate, but we haven't seen a lot of Sombra defenses on point A, so it's a Dutch team bringing something a bit different.
Yeah. Does the hack on Paisos? That's going to be a problem. Too Easy comes in for the finishing damage. And Dante, easy recall just to stay alive, and got an exploding D.Va to keep him company. Netherlands winning another pretty simple defensive fight. Matt,
goodbye, Moth.
How many times have we seen Moth just, you know, I'm starting to think he just enjoys it.
Just enjoys, that's his favorite.
Like I said,
it's his favorite lunar cliff to leap off of.
There's just going to be a pile of divas at the bottom of that cliff now on the moon. You're going to look up there and you're going to be like, oh, there's the hyper-intelligent gorilla colony, and there's the famous pile of dead divas in the crater next to it.
Well, she does waste so many mechs, maybe they're cloning her as well. So.
Maybe. You think so? Replace the mech, replace the pilot.
All right, 30 seconds left, Noah. We've got to see this work now. Poland has the tools to make this happen.
Yeah, Netherlands with the Transcendence early to keep things going. And
Danya went down so fast that Dante doesn't even have to use the EMP.
And that push was over before it began. And so now the only option left for Poland is a hyper-fast desperation push. But with the respawn timers, I don't think they're even going to get...
They can't get there with EMP, though. They're going to get hacked, and they're not going to have the movement abilities.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's it. Shlebaisos pops the Transcendence to live through the Pulse Bomb. Dante coming in from the side. They're trying to get to that point. There's the EMP. Tank does go down, and that should be it for Netherlands. Oh, he hacks him right after the leap. So Primal Rage will actually get them to the point to force overtime, but can they win the fight?
Moth actually picks up Forte with the kill on the point, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Moth trying to get in there.
Where's my crater?
Will be shut down immediately by a pulse bomb on the D-suit. Desperation sound barrier, and they can't quite get back in. So Netherlands will, in fact, full hold with a rare Sombra defense on point A.
Yeah, so Netherlands takes Lunar Colony. They have won the match at this point, 3-0 in map score. Poland still with a chance to take this final map in our 4-map set. And again, as we've seen in the World Cup, every map counts. So even though you've lost the match technically, you still want to try just as hard in this last one to get the map win at least, because it could make a big difference depending on how things play out with the other matches.
What's such a heartbreaker though for Team Poland is we've nearly seen them full hold twice now, and it's just been in the very waning seconds of overtime that the Netherlands has been able to push through and actually take some of these maps. So it really has been quite close, at least on those point A. If we look at Numbani and we look at Horizon there, but it's just not quite enough.
That's right. So we're going to take a quick break, guys, and when we come back, the final map between Poland and the Netherlands. Don't go anywhere. Overwatch World Cup coming back right after this.
Even in the heart of heaven, angels can still feel fear. Diablo.
The Overwatch World Cup 2017 is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, and Blizzard Entertainment.
Hey, we're back. Don Monte Cristo here for our last map between Poland and the Netherlands. We'll see who takes this last one, and we'll see who else becomes a corpse for the Necromancer to rise from the grave. Maybe that's a little bit too far. They're not going to die. Don't worry. It's okay.
I think that's probably for the best, though.
Yeah,
but
no. But Diablo 3 is fun right now.
I haven't had a chance to play the Necromancer yet. I'm looking forward to it once our World Odyssey.
We'll do some seasonal stuff.
is at its close.
It's true. We do play every season.
We do?
Yeah. It's fun. It's a Blizzard game, too, so we can talk about it. Hooray. Well, the Netherlands certainly looking like the better team in this series. I think it's hard to argue that point after looking how these maps went. The defense on Lunar Colony was very tight. And but like we said, Poland, still a lot to play for here. They want to still do everything they can to win this last map because we don't know how things are going to shake out with Austria, with the other matches that we have coming in Group E a little bit later. Looks like Dorado is going to be the final map pick for Poland.
Yeah, and I hope we get to see some more from them there, because it seems like as long as things are going well, they start off strong, but as soon as they're put a little bit off kilter, they can really never find their footing on the map again. And I'm not sure if that's a communication issue where they can't adapt to how Netherlands is changing the way they play on the fly. It's also been a lot of trying to deal with too easy, and I think he definitely has been a thorn in the side of Poland.
I mean, there's a thing in Overwatch called resetting, right? Which is where when your team has lost a fight, your team needs to reset. And that is a skill that takes some practice, getting everybody back on the same page, getting everyone positioned, going in correctly. So resetting is something that we do see teams struggle with too. And when you see a team like Poland that look fine until they lose that first fight, it's resetting that they got the issue with, right? They can't kind of get everybody back together after that first team fight loss.
Yeah, been tough.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the Netherlands here, we are going to see Dante on the Ana and then coupled with Facility's Soldier. So this is another chance for the Netherlands to play a high ground spread defense. So we're not going to see a lot of diving onto the low ground, poking mostly on the cart from up top. And Poland going to have to be aggressive in the way that they dive if they want to actually regain control.
Well, so far, the members of Netherlands have been able to kind of take care of themselves on defense. You know, there's a lot of independent escapes and sort of fight wins that we've seen on a smaller scale, which is very promising if you're a fan of the Netherlands.
Yeah, Danya, just going to get up onto that high ground right now. Problem with what we see from the Netherlands is they have to stay in the sight lines of their healers, which that did not happen right now.
Nope.
Because to delay the cart, you only have 2 players that are going to be going down. Facility at least will take out Danya as he's creeping up on the side of the wall. Crusade will be falling to tank. And it seems like Poland is going to be coming through this first choke point as Netherlands has to fall back into the market square.
So the group on the high ground was able to fight off the attack, but the group on the low ground did not fare as well. And so that leaves a 6v3 that obviously Netherlands is going to have a pretty tough time winning. And it looks like Poland is going to start out with a pretty strong attack here. Looks a lot like Numbani, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And that's the problem with this defense here, as we're going to see what Cetrox is doing right now is saving the damage. So he gets the damage there and can immediately re-jump.
Yep. Been pretty popular with a lot of Winston players on a lot of maps. Volskaya was where we saw that a lot. He's going to roast Morta. And Poland, again, kind of struggling to put up a defensive fight here for the moment.
Danya at least going to pick up some with the Dragon Blade, but they still got Crusade on the point. Very low with the mech, and he is going to get ejected from that. Payload keeps going here as they get the remaining kills too easy, trying to make it difficult.
Wow, that was a pretty Herculean effort by Mattboy there. Getting those kills on his own in the 1v3, getting out to get healed and back in the fight quick. That was a pretty sick Tracer play a moment ago.
He's been doing well so far in this match. Trying to zone too easy out of the side right now. Dutch players coming back one by one, and they have stopped the progress of this card. Soundberg going to come through for Poland.
Well, they've got an edge coming in here. It looks like they're going to go ahead and have Facility commit the tac buys as well on the Netherlands side. Early kill on the tank here, and with that nano boost, Facility doing a ton of damage here. 2 kills, and Netherlands looks like they're going to hold.
Finally stabilizing late in the fight. Sound barrier, I think, a bit early from the Polish side, but they still have the Transcendence to work with if they want to push onto the cart. And with only a few meters left to go, Moth will be able to zone out with that self-destruct. So Poland still has plenty of CC tools or zone creation tools just to get those last few meters.
You don't see a lot of teams get held right there. That was kind of a surprising fight that the Netherlands were able to pull out. And I think it is, like you said, due to that slightly early sound barrier on the Poland side, but they've got a ton of ults to work with. Let's see what they can get done with it as they dive in. Mattboy throws in the pulse bomb, doesn't really find anybody with it. Now the self-destruct comes in. Mattboy does get the kill on the Yona in the end. So Netherlands starting to get picked apart a little bit here. We'll see if the self-destruct... Oh, it does catch Danya. All right, Crusade picking up a big one there. But they need more. Oh, and there's a catch on the Dante.
A big kill there, leaping up onto the Ana to take out the Ana player. That's going to cut off some vital healing to the Dutch side. And they are just going to push forward onto the cart right now. Late sound barrier from the Netherlands will keep Morta alive, though, and allows Yona the opportunity to jump back in.
I think initially, well, Cetrox jumping away from his team as he knew he was stuck. Smart move there. It does still mean the Netherlands have a chance to keep pushing Poland back. They're buying themselves a ton of time, whether Poland does take A or not here. But it looks like Danya may be able to finally close this one out and get that point A taken.
Yeah, Morta committed the sound barrier. They got a lot of time out of it. Danya still hopping over the cart. Facility trying to get back right now. Very low on the soldier. Morta will be the last to fall. That's not going to be enough.
Wow.
With 17 seconds left, seems like finally Poland will make it through point A.
They bought like 2 or 3 minutes there on the defense. So despite almost losing point A early, pretty stellar defense from Netherlands here. Early on in Dorado, now only about 2:30 on the clock for Poland to work with on their attack run. Point B is usually where we see the payload move pretty quick, but as it comes around this last corner, as we look at what Danya's seeing, that's where the Netherlands might want to try to set up their next defense. Either that or they're going to try to take the high ground here. Looks like that's what they're going to go for initially.
Yeah, just a very slow push onto the high ground, not rushing up, and Too Easy still dealing with Botboy on the low ground. Facility gets cut down, and his tac visor zoned out by Danya with the reflect.
Man, it's going to be a pretty good start for Danya. Danya jumps in with no health against the Winston. I don't think he looked at his health bar before going in there because he had like 25 health.
Was definitely a rush maneuver there. Poland now has to fall all the way back to their spawn. Botboy has the pulse bomb.
When he was dashing over there, my brain was just going, no! What are you doing? You have no health.
Yeah, unfortunately, not going to be able to make the big play there for sure. Botboy is going to be sneaking around, tries to get on the Facility, doesn't hit the actual pulse bomb though, and he may be in trouble now. At least gets the Transcendence out. Facility on the run away from a self-destruct, but he can't quite round the corner.
That was a pretty great trade initially, but then the follow-up kill gives Poland maybe the edge to win this fight and push forward. It's a grinding fight, as many have been in this series. Nice kill on Nemorta from Matboy though. And Poland certainly seems to have put themselves in a position to keep this payload moving a little bit. But the Netherlands doing what they did on point A. Really long, great delays with their tanks. And that payload sat there for quite a while.
I mean, the stalls have been great, Doa. Moreover, Morta has the sound barrier right now, so they can delay and actually push them off of the cart. You combine that with the self-destruct and the primal rage, and the stall here from Netherlands is going to be huge unless Poland wins a miracle fight or gets a miracle pick. They're going to have to deal with pushing this cart through point B in overtime.
I mean, what this all comes down to is that even if Poland is able to take point B, Dante, no! Danya, whoever you are, no! And Netherlands gets a couple early kills, but you know, this delay, the point is that even if Poland does take point B, it's going to be nearly impossible to finish the map. And now we're looking at a situation where it's going to be nearly impossible for them to take point B.
And guess what? Primal Rage is still there because that self-destruct was so effective at taking out Danya. They also still have the beat to drop, and there's a long way between them and the cart with only 5 seconds to get there.
Last-ditch effort from Poland. They got to make something happen. Now they lose Paistos early. That hurts so bad. Danya needs to come up huge with this Dragon Blade. Has to cut through the sound barrier, though, and that is not easy. Yona getting 1 kill already. Too Easy does go down, so 1 kill at the very end, but Danya no health left to work with. And Netherlands striking back. Setrak's kind of on his own, but he's got a lot to deal with, and it looks like that's going to be a hold right here for the Netherlands, and that's tough, man. I mean, that is not a hard attack to be successful on from the Netherlands side.
Yeah, it is, but we've seen very close to full holds from the Poland team so far.
Yeah.
So if they can actually pull it off this time and prevent Netherlands from going through in overtime, maybe they can take Dorado. But that self-destruct kill onto Danya was so very important.
Yeah, for
Forced
sure.
the entire Polish team to reset. They didn't have an opportunity to make the Netherlands use the sound barrier, make them use the primal rage, and when you're in that scenario, rushing back, having to use your ultimate simply to get back to the cart, and it allows Netherlands to really play conservatively with that ult economy, get onto the cart, and use the CC. It's almost impossible to push through in that overtime scenario.
I like seeing them kind of standing back there. It kind of reminds me as if I was picking one of them in a Mortal Kombat game or something. They kind of have that like repeating loop stance kind of thing.
I love it. It's great. You're right though. It does make it seem like a fighting game.
It does. Who would be your Mortal Kombat character out of these guys? Who would be your fighting game pick? Which one of these guys would you pick as your fighting game character?
I'd pick Too Easy for sure, especially given how bloodthirsty he's been so far in this match. Absolutely. Right. He's small but tenacious.
Yeah, I could see that. I'd go with Crusade personally.
You like Crusade?
He's got the flexibility. He's like the dude that he's not like your big sword character, or he's not like the cool ninja, but he's like the character is actually very good if you practice with him enough.
All right, well, we'll make them 1v1 for our amusement later.
The first annual Monty and Doha Hunger Games here in the Overwatch World Cup. Got to start sometime.
So Poland actually also going to be using the Ana and the Soldiers. So same composition we saw from Netherlands on defense. Netherlands actually going to be playing with 2easy on the Widowmaker. So can he hit the shots right out of the gate? Looking for somebody to poke off. He's going to get a headshot onto the Diva. They know the Widow's here now. Reposition. Nope. Hook shot. Going to leap up. Wants that Ana, but they're playing around the line of sight well.
So close, man.
Miss.
Mad Boy.
There we go.
You gotta watch out, man. There's a Widowmaker down there.
He was focused on staying on the other side of the card.
I guess so, yeah.
Netherlands has 5 people now coming through that tunnel on the high ground, so they're going to be directly taking control of that position. Schlemeistos dodges the shot, but still dies to Crusade.
Schlemeistos would have died a little bit earlier, but didn't end up mattering too much. And Tank got to be a little bit careful there. 2easy. Not necessarily getting a lot of kills himself, but he's doing his job. He's getting the damage done, and he's pushing Poland into kind of uncomfortable positions on the map.
Well, he's creating space, and I think the crucial thing that this does is if they're playing with an Ana, the Ana can't be in line of sight to heal the tanks. So it creates a lot of problems, because if the Widowmaker sees her, she dies. So as long as you're playing around the front line and making this very slow push, it's very difficult to play Ana right now. And
you got to back off if you're straight to there.
So close to dying.
Yeah.
Still wants it.
All right. Sees where everybody is. Mad Boy being very, very careful here, so it's all right. Time to shoot somebody else. A lot of damage onto that Diva. Nice shot onto Mad Boy. Ooh, gets a couple of them. Gets that mech as well. And this Widowmaker is working so well for Netherlands right now.
It's not that 2easy is hitting every shot here, but what he is doing is he's playing the right positions, and his team is playing around him. So that's the effect right now. It's the threat of the Widowmaker that is really creating the big difference here for the Netherlands.
He's picking the right targets, too. I mean, part of what you do on Widowmaker is you don't necessarily get tons of headshots, right? You get damage on the people you don't want to be part of the fight on the enemy side. So he's basically,
that's a good
that's
one,
a headshot.
That's a nice shot.
What you do is you basically click on people you don't want to be able to fight your team, and they have to back away. Sometimes you just kill them. Now it's happening. All right.
Well, with the Zenyatta dead, there's nothing else. Finally, Moth is able to find 2easy in that back line. You know, out of all the players on Poland, Moth has been struggling trying to shut down the damage on this Diva for most of the series so far.
Well, it's been a show on the Widowmaker for sure. There's the ultimate again, revealing where everybody on Team Poland is on the map at the moment. And Netherlands has a lot of time to push it not too far.
It's just moving so freely right now. Yona waiting to see if somebody's going to try and stop this Widowmaker on the high ground.
So much zone control.
Poland is really waiting a long time here. Schlemeistos was taken out, and Map Boy dies right on the approach on the Tracer.
Well, it's a 6v5 starting things off. Transcendence for both teams. It's Disco Fever. Self-destruct coming in. No kills for Netherlands. They're going to kind of pick apart Poland here. Dives very deep. There's the sound barrier. Kills coming in. So it looks like this might be the end of the match right here as Visility cuts down Poland's hopes of winning a single map in this series. They're going to try to delay as long as they can. They've got Cetrox with that Primal Rage, but it's not going to last forever. And that should be about it. Netherlands takes a clean 4-0 in this first match.
And this map, Doha, they looked their best. So precise on that attack.
I agree.
That was significantly smoother. They had struggled previously, especially when they were on offense. But this time around, they had the strategy planned around the Widowmaker. They got the necessary angles and moved well as a unit.
Right. Well, tough start for Team Poland. Numbani looked a little bit closer. As you can see, that was a 3-2. But after that, it was pretty definitively the Netherlands proving they are the better team, at least in this match anyway. But we've got a lot of Overwatch to cover for the rest of the weekend, though, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. And, of course, Netherlands going to have a huge issue when they fight South Korea later this weekend. So this first victory, very important. 4-0, every map can be a difference in a tiebreaker. So
absolutely.
Definitely a 4-0 going to be huge for them here.
Yep. And it's scary, too, when you look at that prospect of having to fight South Korea. I mean, we've been checking out some of the scrims so far this weekend, and from what we've seen, South Korea has been kind of just trolling their way through all of them and still winning. So it's going to be tough.
We're gonna see probably some unique strategies.
I think so. Unique is a very good way to put it. You're so kind, Monte Cristo. That's right. All right. Well, I think it's time to see what the desk has to say about those maps. Let's go check it out.
Thank you so much, Doa and Professor Doa. Whenever I think of him, I think of like my old English teacher, Mr. Wiemet from back in the day. I don't know why.
You still know the name.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was.
Wow.
He actually
He made
left
an
a great.
impression.
He made an impact on me.
A good or a bad one?
Great one. Great one.
Great
He's
one.
one of the best teachers I've ever had.
Fantastic.
I could listen to Doa just talk about.
Shout out
things
to all
for
the good
hours.
teachers.
Yeah, shout out to all the
Yeah.
good educators.
Thank you.
Speaking of good educators, it's too easy educating people with that sniper rifle.
Hey-o.
Damn.
There it is.
Okay, we got to talk about this because Horizon, that was Poland's pick, and they just could not seem to find anything on that one. James, I'll start with you.
I mean, things look good, right? They almost got the full hold up until that final fight on point A where Netherlands were able to take advantage of the fact that, well, they were running an Ana on the side of Poland. And so once they saw the Transcendence gone, they knew they had a huge window of opportunity. They were able to go in with the Blade and just clean up the team fight. And then, even then, it still came down to a pretty close team fight towards the end. But once it got to the offense, we saw that Poland did struggle there.
Yeah, oh boy. I mean, Netherlands were just so aggressive with this Sombra, and it's something we've seen before, specifically on Hanamura. I mean, it's kind of similar. It's a single choke point. We see Laser Kittens smashing Misfits in contenders with that kind of strategy.
Really, Misfits?
It
Tell me more
felt
about
so
this.
bad.
Tell me more about that smashing. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of similar to this. Let's talk about this game with the World Cup, Golden Boy. Let's not bring back bad memories, okay? No, but they were just so aggressive with this Sombra and with the dives. I mean, they got good dives all around, and Poland just didn't have an answer. And we talked about that. They don't have this shot caller that guides the team, and it's really hard when you get stuck like this and you don't really know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we've seen Too Easy right now, and he was once again the guy who really opened up the fights for Team Netherlands. I felt like he was the playmaker there and gave them the opportunities to really go in. And just the coordination they had, and also like the focus they had on Matt, they really made sure to get rid of that diva so they can bite through the defense of Poland. And I just generally felt like that was really, really well done. And like Reinforce just said, that defensive Sombra dive strat, and it just worked out for them. It was actually really pretty to watch.
Yeah, but it's almost like a pocket strat, right? Because when you know it's coming, you can set up. I think they should have retorted to a soldier and played this poke game. They were only playing one support Sombra, so they don't have this sustain that you usually have when you have two healers. But instead, they try to go in fast with a Reaper, and then it's up to the Genji. They try to have this fast approach on the side of Poland, and it just didn't work out when Netherlands were playing even faster.
Yeah, I think that you touched on it in the beginning, and I think it even was more prevalent in the Dorado game. Poland is struggling with the shot calling. This is a team that really needs to find their voice and find their leader, going into this. And one player I'm looking at in particular is Matt Voy, because he had, I said that right? Matt Voy, there you go. I felt good. Everyone looked at me.
I think it's
Matt Voy.
Matt Voy.
Okay. But Matt Voy, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, the Swiss superstar over here. He had a really good game, but you can only do so much in that tracer role. But at the very least, he was like trying to lead the team.
Throughout the course of the 4 maps, we saw continually Mapboy was actually finding moments of brilliance there where he was up in like a 3v1 and he was still getting a kill and then getting out of the team fight alive. He did create windows of opportunities for Poland, but that's where Poland was really struggling, right? They had the plan going in for the initial engage, but then when it came to the larger macro towards the plays, they didn't know how to follow up off of those picks, and then that allowed Netherlands to come in for Too Easy to come in, even out the team fights, and then just rally back from there. But even the Genji play coming up from Danya, I think he also had some moments of brilliance with his Genji play. It's just ultimately, again, they need to figure out what they do after they find the first pick, and then just clean up these team fights in a much easier manner.
Yeah, when you have these individually skilled players, I mean, they can do good work, but you need them to focus a single target, and we just didn't see it throughout the series.
Yeah, meanwhile at Netherlands, like the target calling was really on spot. Also when we saw like Too Easy on the Widowmaker, opening everything up and really getting that work done for his team. Also general, like the zoning they created with the Widowmaker was just spot on. And Poland has been showing in the last few games that they haven't been playing very reactionary. They weren't really able to, like change their game plan. And I felt like Netherlands really abused that.
Yeah, I think they stuck on the soldier for way too long, and they just didn't have an answer. I mean, Too Easy was playing on the high ground, and you only have a Winston that can't really reach the back line and go for that Widow. And you can't really put it on Matvoy either, because he got pretty much destroyed in that series. It's not his job. I think they should have stopped down here to the Genji earlier, so you have someone at least deal with Too Easy's Widowmaker.
Yeah, it was a tough one for Poland. They go down 4-0 in the group. Not the start that I'm sure that they wanted to see, especially in their hometown, but they're not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. Netherlands, though, they're looking solid at 4-0 with that start, but this is going to be a good one. Coming up next, we are going to have Austria facing off against South Korea. South Koreans, a dominant squad. So
I mean, you guys called them the elephant in the room. It feels more like a blue whale, honestly. But I think Austria doesn't go in with the expectation to win.
Really?
Yeah, I might be wrong here, but I don't think. I think they're gonna, take this as a practice run.
It's gonna be. I mean, look, sometimes, right? Sometimes you can't sugarcoat it, right? You have to be honest with the situation. South Korea is an incredible squad with players that are just here, lights out, right? Like, I mean, the best in the world, dare I say. This is going to be a tough battle for Austria, and
you're still sugarcoating it.
I have to be. Well, I mean, listen here. Someone's got to be.
It's an uphill battle they're going to fight.
But the hill's very steep. Okay, it's like Nitro at Six Flags. It's a very steep one. Anyway, guys, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have the South Koreans facing off against Austria. You don't want to miss this one. Don't go anywhere.
We are hope.
We are honor.
We are courage.
We are justice.
We are compassion.
We are determination.
We are harmony. We are Overwatch.
Welcome back, everyone, here to the Overwatch World Cup Katowice group stage as we get ready for our second matchup of the day. It's going to be South Korea facing off against Austria. And we were in jest before the break, kind of talked about a couple things here. But James, South Korea.
It's South
The
Korea.
burden.
They're walking in extremely confident. They do have targets on their backs, but I mean, at that point, can anyone hit it? They are bringing, the cream of the crop of the Korean scene here at this point. They're bringing in two-time Apex champions, right? In Zumba, Jaehong, and Toby.
Recent,
exactly, yeah. And while they might not have had as much practice before, there's still some natural synergy with bringing in 3 members from the same squad.
I mean, I've written down Kabaji needs to do work. Kabaji, a really good tracer on the south of Austria, but he's going up against Saibilby. And Saibilby is like top 3 tracer world.
Yeah.
What work is Kabaji gonna do? It's gonna be rough.
Well, thankfully it's a team game, all right? It's not just about the individuals. And I mean, again, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I don't actually think Austria is going to see much light in this very vertical battle. Yeah. But I'm sorry, but I'm still looking for those individual performances because we had it in the other 2 stops as well. We had Portugal, for example. They came with very well-known players, but the rest of the squad was fairly unknown. And then we still had players like Addicted and Horthig, like really performing so great and surprising us so well, as well as Thailand. We all know Mickey, but then we had like Opudo's Sombra, for example, which was just out of this world. And I very much hope to see that from Austria, where the names in the Austrian squad might not be, well known to everyone out there. They are known in their own country. So
they said this is the best DPS that Austria, the best offensive heroes that Austria can bring to the table here. So, and again, they are going to need their best.
Also, South Korea did mention that they do feel pressure. Because, they didn't lose a map last year.
It's a different kind of pressure, right? It's not the pressure to not lose. It's the pressure to not drop a map at all throughout the entirety of World Cup. So we'll see if they can make that run, but I think it's pretty likely.
Yeah, Doa asked if they could try not losing a single point. I think they can do it.
I think someone suggested it to them and they just
I don't think that
humbly laughed.
Look, man, I'm on keto. I don't sugarcoat stuff. So
that's the worst.
I think it was pretty good.
I'm new, okay? I'm new on the job. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I did my best. I'm sorry.
So do you think they're going to drop a point?
Yes, I think they're going to drop a point.
Of course they're going to drop.
Maybe not
are they
today.
going to drop one against Austria?
It was pretty interesting. Even though the Koreans were really lighthearted in their practices, there was a point where they lost a point, and their coach or one of their committee members came in, and they were just like, "No, you cut that out. You're going to play serious, and you're not going to lose this." So
it's just
no dessert for any of you.
No.
That's it.
We're all on keto now.
Oh my goodness, we're all on keto now. That's it. Soldier 76 on keto confirmed. Oh boy. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead. I believe we should be ready to go with the players making their way out to the stage. I actually was just told we need a minute there. So a minute you will have. Let's talk more about your keto diet here. I think that's the appropriate.
I mean, that's just me hyping up South Korean players.
Yeah.
Do we want to look at mistakes or weak points in South Korea?
Yes, please.
Probably the
Sure.
front line.
Yeah. I think that is a good point to bring up. What are the weak points?
Well, I think the front line is the problem here. I mean, last year you had Miro on the Winston. This year you don't. You have Mono. And I'm really looking out for Sunba and Mono, how they're going to sync up together. They don't have enough practice together. And Mono being the more aggressive Winston of the two between him and Miro. So we might see Mono get caught off guard. I would like to see a team bring out the Sombra, okay? If you can get a hack onto Sunba, Mono will have no protection. He's forced to jump back. There might be an opening if you bring out the Sombra in a 2-2 comp. And then you can maybe take a point of South Korea.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very tough for Austria to be able to do that. They have to find those exploits, and they have to be able to punish them for it. Can you see it happening?
No.
Okay.
But I feel like it's once again going into a match as the underdog. There is not much pressure, right? You can try out more things. It's a very different mindset to go into a match like that. Also, with the players we have in South Korea, I mean, everything about them is out there. Every information is available. So Austria knows exactly what they're going to go up against. And maybe they can actually, put it to some sort of an advantage.
Yeah, sure. I mean, South Korea, they even streamed some official matches.
They did.
Not official matches, but some practice matches in South Korea. And they brought out the Junkrat and stuff, so maybe that's something they have on the table here. We don't know what.
I think everyone called it a serious troll.
I mean, the anti-dive composition with Junkrat plus Junkrat.
I mean, there's South Korea. Trust them. They know what they're doing.
There are a lot of Junkrat fans out there that would be very, very excited to see that played.
They would have loved that in Sydney.
Yeah.
They were asking for that.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been. All right, guys. Well, it's time to get ready for the match at hand. It's South Korea versus Austria. Well, the players should be coming out here. I was in my video like this on the screen.
It was a good video.
Oh boy, and there they are, making their way out to the stage right now, the South Koreans and the Austrians here. This is certainly going to be an incredible matchup for fans in South Korea, and as well as actually around the world, because Apex has been pretty big.
It's pretty big.
I stayed up late to watch the Apex finals, the Lunatic High face off against Kangju. That was a pretty awesome final there, and I mean this team, man, they have everything going for them here, James.
I mean, once again, 2-time Apex champions and 3 of the players. We also have 2 returning members, Jaehong and Zumba, from last year's World Cup 2016 team. And this is possibly the best squad you can ask for, right? We already know Roo Jae-hong is a household name at this point. With his Ana play, we were able to see him last year under so much pressure, still able to land clutch sleep darts and everything, but we've also seen him evolve a little bit more. We're seeing so much versatility come out from this entire team, and Jae-hong is kind of like the crux of that position. We saw Lunatic High actually bust out a lot of these solo support compositions, and Jae-hong is the man that can do it. He can go on to 76 and all these other picks.
Yeah, and then on the other side, we have the Austrians, who are some players you mentioned before, but I want to retouch on this. Who are some players that you want to highlight in particular?
I mean, obviously, I'm expecting Kabachi and What7 to really show up here in this very dive-heavy meta, right? Those are the players to look out for, with a good Winston, with a good Tracer, so they technically do have the key ingredients to make it work. They are consisting of players which might not be well-known internationally, but they are known in Austria. Those guys are coming from 2 different teams, Team Respawn, HFC, as well as War Kids, and they've been finalists in countless Austria lands and tournaments, so they do know what they're doing, and they definitely came here to perform on this very stage. And yeah, I'm just very much interested to see what kind of strats they're coming up with, because they did hint at specifically practicing for individual other teams, so who knows?
Yeah, we touched on this earlier, Golden Boy, the first match going into the tournament. I think this is actually a pretty good match going into it, because you don't feel as much pressure going up against South Korea. You know they're huge favorites. So you just want to get in there, be on stage, play a game, and maybe tomorrow you have some more experience going into the second match.
Yeah, and what a way, too, for you to be able to start off against South Korea, right? You know, some of the best teams, or best players in the world. So you're getting a lot of good practice in. In fact, some of the European teams that are out here have taken opportunities to scrim against the South Koreans, because how many opportunities are you going to have?
Exactly.
In that instance, you want to be able to learn from some of the best in the world. And then for the Austrians, right? I think they know the task at hand is going to be very, very difficult, met with a lot of hiccups along the way, but this is their opportunity to be able to iron out their issues, and who knows, maybe even get upset wins over Netherlands and you know.
I definitely think they are a team who can surprise. They do, as we mentioned before, like they do have the ingredients, maybe not against Korea, but
yeah.
It might be possible against the other teams, and we already established that every map matters in this groups. Every point matters.
We saw it. Yeah. Well, we saw it happen though.
Right, Reinforced?
Yeah. Yeah. Every point matters, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's very important.
No, for sure, every map matters. And I mean, if they can take a map versus South Korea, that's huge, because this group, whoever manages to get a few maps of just Netherlands, of Poland, I mean, you can get that second spot. So it's very open. Netherlands have to be flawless to get that second spot, but I think Austria and Poland, they can cause a mess in this group.
Yeah, it could get very dirty, very messy, very fast. Then we would need a bath.
South Korea is going to help us out.
Yes, they're going to cleanse us all. Oh, man. James, we've praised South Korea quite a bit here, and for due reason, because they are considered to be some of the best players in the world. But, you know, one thing that I've enjoyed hearing about this squad is that, yes, there are, like, you could say, oh, why don't they just take all Lunatic High and just bring them and then just roll all the way through to BlizzCon? But instead, they went with the team that had the best synergy, which I thought was very interesting, considering that we have a mismatch here.
It was a very calculated approach coming out from the South Korean committee members. Yeah, Youngbotang, Marine, and I believe Runner were the 3 committee members. And the thing is, Runner has been within the scene for a really long time. He has a lot of information. We've seen how active he has been with Runaway over in South Korea in trying to analyze the team, analyze other teams, and try to find the right picks for them. So they took a really active approach in trying to pick out this team, and bringing in Sebilby and Flower, while, you know, they are coming in from LW Blue, there is some manner of synergy coming in with the rest of the squad. Like, a lot of these players did play in some mixed match teams earlier on before they did find this foundation of their main squads.
Yeah, and if you compare South Korea to a team like Rogue, or a team like France, sorry, I mean, they're the same thing. but France, for example, they're really good at dive and really good at executing dive. What's so scary about this South Korean squad is they're not just good at dive, they're good at everything. So, I mean, right here at BlizzCon, they're just going to be good in every meta. I mean, so they're very scary. They have insane hero pools.
It's a diversity that not a lot of teams can really match, which is very scary. You know, when you think about it, because who knows what the favorites would be going into Anaheim, and that's what, in November. So like, that's a lot of time between now and then. We're already starting to see that with the new update, some shifts, some new heroes taking the spotlight. Hashtag Zarya mains, you know. We will return, and
well,
you know, like that's my thing.
I mean, I'm stopping Reinhardt return. Sorry for cutting off. No.
But
the question is, will Zoe return to Reinhardt after this?
Of course I will, because I still have more hours played on him than you do.
Oh, dear Lord.
Just calling it.
What is going on right now?
We have that Reinhardt thing going on.
That's just fake news.
Fake news. Sure.
That's a good laugh right there. I love that. We got jokes for days here, guys.
Yeah, talking about jokes though, I love the attitude of Team Austria. When we had the chance to sit down with them, they were so upbeat and positive. You know, like, they're realistic about their chances here. They have a very, very healthy approach to this game and to this competition, and they just want to come here and try their best. And I hope to see those smiles at the end of this very match too.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for Austria because I've been watching, you know, I watch a lot of streams, I watch a lot of pro streams, and Kabaji is a name that, like you had mentioned, Zoe, that comes up pretty often. He duels with a lot of people in North America, even though, you know, he's playing from Europe, so even though he's got that ping disadvantage, he'll go on the Tracer and he'll still carry a lot of games. So I'm expecting big things coming out from Kabaji.
Yeah, I'm expecting good things out of What7. This is a guy who's been a professional player. He's played for Team Dignitas and such, so this is sort of their leader in the team, the experienced guy on Winston. Someone I'm looking out for to have a lot of understanding of positioning and how to grab space as a Winston, create space for your team, create space for Kabaji, as we highlighted, a very good Tracer player. So keep a good look on What7 and where he leaps, and expect protection coming out of Sensitix on the Diva.
Yeah, one player for me in particular that I need to focus on is Uber Bingo, playing the Lucio role here, because we saw in the last game how it could really affect you if you mistime those sound barriers. You know, when you drop the beat too late, right? I mean, one, no one likes it at the party, and then no one likes that in game as well.
You know, what I like about Uber Bingo is also like, that was actually really good. He's a player with very good mechanical skills. He also usually plays flex, so he is, I think he's playing like a different hero every single season. But that also gives him a good broad understanding of the whole game, you know, like if you're more familiar with different heroes and positionings, then that does help a lot in a game like Overwatch. And even though What7 might be the only one who's internationally known and a pro player, and technically could be considered the only pro player Austria has in that regard, the others still bring experience from other smaller lands and tournaments.
Well, it's nice to have as well. You have these smaller teams. You know, have a growing scene. So maybe this Austria team can inspire other Austrians next year, you know? Yeah. Put on a good show.
Yeah, you want to be able to really inspire your region. We saw that with Argentina.
We saw that with Japan.
Yeah, we saw that with Japan, right? I mean, who knew that that region was that darn good at Overwatch, right? I mean, none of us thought that coming into it. A region traditionally known for incredible fighting game players, and here they are fielding an incredible Overwatch team. And when you think about Europe, you think about the FPS background that these players all have. You know, who knows, right? Anything could be developed from here. Why are you laughing?
You said they had really good fighting game players, and I'm just imagining next year when they bring out the Reinhardt, Winston, Doomfist meta.
Oh, man, that's going to be fun.
Can we get some more melee heroes in the game, Jeff?
Get some fights.
Would be a sick region, you know, sick country in Japan.
Find the unlimited combo on Doomfist, right?
Oh, like just Kaplan to do a video. He's like, we really wanted to make a hero that could be played with a fight stick. So, you know, we're bringing this guy, you know, like,
sick mechanics.
Sick mechanics, right? Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I think that brings a really interesting point. We're going to see such a different approach to the game going into BlizzCon this year. So a lot of these players and a lot of these teams really had to think about that in the long haul, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some could say Sweden made a mistake taking a Reinhardt main, but I'm kidding. You played phenomenal. But no, right, like, did you ever think about that as well? Like, getting ready for it, you're like, oh man, what could the meta be in like 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's always a topic of discussion. You want everyone to be diverse in their hero pool for sure. But we also looked at the current meta and we picked up Swoosh. I'm just talking, from the experience of being in Sweden now, because Swoosh was this really good Genji that we really needed in the team. But I think overall, I mean, all teams, you want to focus, you have your goals, right? Some teams have goals of getting out of groups, I mean, just fighting for a playoff spot. Some teams just have the pressure on their shoulders to automatically just qualify for BlizzCon. So it's about different goals and what your mentality is. As a team that's, for example, really fighting really hard and have to step up for this group stage, they might not consider the next meta so much. But they might focus on the dive meta we have here.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. You're thinking about what your goal is as a squad, and again, I hate to harp on it, but we brought up like Argentina before, and they were thinking about how that would work out as well. And James, I kind of want to get your thoughts here real fast, because we're talking about a super diverse team here in South Korea that could do anything. Do you think we're going to see some surprises in this matchup?
I mean, we already know what like the standard meta is, right? You've got the Diva, and you've got the Winston coming out, but with Zumba and Mono being the core tank duo there, Zumba can flex off onto a really strong Zarya. I mean, he was, I think, the rank 1 Zarya in the world. Season 1, I believe he had a SR high of 92. That's before the SR changes came around. And then, of course, Mono. His Winston's great, but his Reinhardt's stronger, and that's why they brought him in.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out. It's going to be South Korea versus Austria. We know you guys are itching to get into the action, so we're going to send it over to your casters. It's going to be the one and only Uber and Mr. X. Look at them on the screen, so pretty.
Thank you very much. The voice of God there from Golden Boy. Now, they don't really have Uber X in Poland, but myself and Matt are going to take you guys on a ride through some fantastic Overwatch.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome to see. South Korea, obviously, the dominant force last year at the World Cup. Austria, though, they believe.
What do they believe?
They're going to hang in this match.
They're going to hang. That could be taken really badly.
Yeah, I told them yesterday, I was like, no, I kind of want you guys to win. They were like, do you think we're going to win? I told them, yes. But I don't know how confident I am.
Their official warm-up song is Boom 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 by the Venga Boys, so I'm behind that personally. I'm quite into that one. But South Korea as well, I mean, it wouldn't be the Overwatch World Cup without, in my opinion, the greatest region in the world representing right now. And this team is frightening. We'll get a chance to talk about it a bit more. The desk has already covered it though, Matt. It's going to be King's Row to kick us off.
Well, you talk about how dominant the team is. I mean, the MVP of the Overwatch World Cup, Miro, I mean, he's not even on this.
Right, so what world should we live in?
How strong of a lineup they are.
Exactly. What world do we live in when the MVP doesn't get the call up the next year? I don't know. Anyway, we're straight into it, though. And look at this composition. This is that... I don't even know what it is. They've even got a Hanzo here for Flower to try and break the point. Matt, this is insane.
Yeah, so something, we talked about a little bit, earlier pre-game, me and you, and, Johnny mentioned on the desk is, maybe you will see a little bit more of the Reinhardt out of South Korea, and that's really why you go with Mono as the tank. A nice pick there by Flower. But earlier in the fights, Kabaji taking out Sebiol on the McCree.
This is Season 2, Season 3 kind of stuff. Use this Hanzo to get a lot of damage down, to really wear away the shields of the enemy, and to get those picks. It's very much just a pick comp with a huge front line. Even Sebiol there on the McCree. And the Koreans are giving us something a little bit special to start this off.
And it's so interesting, right? You're so used to playing against the dive. You're focused about all strategizing against the dive. They bring out something like this, and teams just don't know how to react, right? They start spreading out a little bit more. It's a lot easier to take this first point.
And we may never know, Matt, whether this is just them playing something cheesy or something they've been thinking about. But if you watch their preparation games, especially against Kongjuwonsia, this is a team composition that they tried to nail down. I don't know about the Hanzo. I didn't see that one in the lead-up, but still.
Well, that's why you put this team together, the roster of these 6 players, because they can play literally anything. So you can come out in any matchup and catch anyone off guard. And I think, you're going to get close to that Hanzo ultimate soon. Zumba working towards that Graviton. They have a lot of ultimates to work with right now as well. You have the Earth Shatter. See if that can come into play. And here comes the Graviton Surge. It's going to be 3 kills. Make it 4, 5, almost all 6. Yep, Icky, he'll stand there. He'll drop. That'll be a team wipe in favor of South Korea.
It's quite dangerous for Austria to really play in that manner. they're playing, of course, now with a Reinhardt and a Zaya themselves. So almost out of respect, they're very much emulating this particular team composition. And with this comp, you have to play fairly close up and try and use chokes. Think back to the old Mei and Reaper meta when you had those big shields and were able to get close to the enemy without taking damage. Unfortunately, what happens when a grab breaks you apart like that, there's no coming back. Austria, though, again, getting close to a grab. Iki's also got the tactical visor ready to roll.
Well, you do have the Flower Dragon Strike here. He'll come in. Going to get some damage. Not going to take anybody out, though. As you see, he's going to get a scatter shot ready. Gets a lot of damage on the players of Austria. Now you're going to see South Korea start to push in. Everybody is just falling for Austria. Things could not be any worse.
This is unbelievable as well. Iki had a tactical visor, was shot down by Lijiang in that fight. On the Ana, sitting in the backline, so much damage down to Iki. I was wondering how long it would take for this to come out. He's said he's a self-professed Widow main. What Sevens was like, yeah, you know, we hope we're not going to have him play it too much. But it looks like Austria now scraping the barrel to try and find something to answer this from South Korea.
Well, the way he kind of described it is I'll go Widow, and sometimes I hit shots and I stay on it. Sometimes I don't hit shots and I have to switch. Sounds a lot like my Widow play at home. Sometimes I'm just snapping, I'm taking people out. Sometimes I just can't hit anything. And you do see it's Toby with the sound barrier ready. There comes the Graviton in from Austria, and they're going to try and push, take some players out.
Yeah, slightly later sound barrier coming out from Austria here, but they've already lost Exotic. So Bingo goes off the edge. That was never part of the plan. I'm not even sure how that happened. You saw him on the main screen. Sabio, he gets chunked fairly low. He's being forced back, I believe, by Iki and that SMG, but he gets a bit of space, and Flower comes straight into the fight. Scatterer claims Watch 7. There's so much damage available here for South Korea with this dynamic duo of DPSs, and there's a lot of ults. There's a grab coming up for South Korea as well.
And you see they're just able to back away from that fight with Austria, stay alive, and then they just come fire right on through. Sabio B does have the Deadeye ready. See when he's going to use it. Watch 7 trying to get back further up on the map, give his team some space with that Rhine shield to lead the charge.
There's been no answer to this Hanzo so far. How easy is it? The Widowmaker, they're sitting on the low ground, actually switch towards the Tracer, should I say, for Iki. Now Flower is at his volition just to get tons of free damage to the top side. Biting Grenade frantically thrown at the rest of Austria to keep them alive through the grab, but it wasn't enough healing. Watch 7's purple, the Earth Shadow is just the icing on the cake now. Iki walks headfirst into an arrow from Flower. This is filthy.
And every team in the back is watching this, and they are now scared. This South Korean team, they didn't drop a map last year. They came in with the expectations to do that again. That is a statement there in map number 1 on the first half.
We jumped into this very, very quickly as well. Obviously, we cut to the game while they were already out of the gate, so there wasn't a lot of time to maybe discuss the team comps that we saw here. But the idea of bringing the Reinhardt and Zaya in now, obviously Zaya is getting to a point now where she's becoming back into the meta a little bit more. It's hard to escape. Yeah. She can't escape. You can't escape from her Graviton Surge. That's the idea. Even if you have mobility heroes like the Tracers, like the Genjis and stuff like that. But more importantly as well, being able to offer that shield to protect something like a McCree a little bit easier in the backline. Someone who needs a lot of babysitting in general. And Reinhardt feels fairly good going up against Diva and Winston, because he could sort of walk into them and get a lot of free damage. And we didn't see that there. Austria mirrored the team composition of South Korea eventually, but you can see the thought process behind it. We're taking a trip back to almost the triple tank meta, minus Roadhog.
Yeah, and I mean, you look, Ryan also pretty decent against Genji. No, Genji gets a little close. Ryan can definitely punish him with the hammer, but...
And he's been buffed as well, of course. 10% extra damage, and now the timings on his hammer swings are... I think it was 10% faster hammer swing, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty handy.
Yeah, so I mean, you see the South Korean comp there at the beginning. You don't know, I mean, we would talk about what they would do on defense. I don't think you have any clue. I mean, they could bring out whatever. We've talked to Flower a little bit. Maybe we're expecting the Junkrat. Maybe you see the Junkrat on this one. He was talking it up when we were doing the interviews.
Yeah, I mean, and if you really want to come back and try and develop an intellectual basis for that particular choice, you're probably going to struggle a little bit there. Obviously, Junkrat doesn't excel against Farah. He struggles a little bit against high mobility targets. But if the enemy team wants to try and play Reinhardt, like Austria have been, then Junkrat can cause them a lot of problems. Lijiang there is, he's finding his own sense of transcendence in the corner there.
Yeah, he's just standing on top of a garbage can.
I'm trying to make it sound nice.
Icky maybe with the Widowmaker as well could cause some problems of Flower on the Junkrat, but I'm excited to see Junkrat come into play.
Yep, there it is on defense. I mean, and he works so well around choke points, which is what South Korea want to try and make the most use of on this map, especially this first point, and just outside of the first point at that little archway. Iki's going to try and fly through, and Flower needs to respect this to a degree, but Lijiang doesn't. Sleep Dark connects.
The fact that he's able to do that cross map on a Widow, there's no fear from Jae-Hong. As you see Flower, he's going to be able to take out Icky there with a mine from Junkrat. And you see, just trapping them inside of this staircase. the Junkrat can cause so much damage. It's exactly like you said, Mitch, trying to force Austria into some close chokes and then spam those Junkrat nades through and cause a ton of chaos.
Austria have willingly shipped themselves off to the abattoir there as well because they were trying to fight South Korea in those very close quarters. You saw the Flower had 2, maybe even 3 kills with that remote mine, throwing it out at his own volition here, setting up, of course, to capture anyone. A sleep dart or a trap like that one can give Flower an easy kill because he just throws a remote mine at the direction of the incapacitated target and will do tons of damage.
Well, look where Wat7's going on that Reinhardt, right? He's going towards that right-hand side of the statue, and that's where his team's following to, and that's probably the worst spot to be. And you see everybody falling. Icky, he's the only one up top on the Widow. So here's when Widow doesn't work, right? When you're trying to get picks for your team, your team is all falling, you can't really do much. Maybe you'll have to see him make a change next spawn.
Yeah, so Kabaji going to make the switch out towards Reaper here. He's hoping that South Korea really want to stand and deliver, but this doesn't actually give him a great option against Flower, who's more than happy to sit back and do damage from range. You can see Kabaji getting chunked down on the top there, and that is partly because of Flower just throwing these grenades one after another.
Well, I'm surprised you're not seeing them go for the Pharah. I mean, you can get Pharah against the Junkrat. Maybe you're able to make something happen. I think that would probably be the way to go.
Theoretically, yes, but Lijiang probably just 4-taps you on Pharah anyway. Look at that.
Well.
Remote one comes out. It's now going to fall down as well. And now Flower's chasing these kills, essentially. Reaper's in his way, but it doesn't matter. Flower happened to throw a grenade in here. And one of the few times in Overwatch history when a player teases a certain hero and actually refers to it by name and actually brings it out straight away.
It's just been dominance from South Korea at the beginning. You're going to see Icky. He's going to switch off the Widow, so he's going to go with Tracer. Try and apply a little pressure with the rest of his squad.
Yeah, importantly, pressure on Mano. He's had a little bit too much freedom here. Wat7's got up, and the Graviton is going to be a 3-man pulse bomb from Sabiolbi. Pretty comfortable there. Kabaji wasn't even in a position to get involved in that fight. He managed to pick off Zumba, and that was it. Sabiolbi has been quite effectively keeping Wat7 on his toes, preventing him from being able to be safe behind that shield, or even more importantly, preventing his teammates from feeling like they can stand close to their Reinhardt, because a pulse bomb stuck to the Reinhardt, and you're trying to benefit from the shield, you're done.
Yeah, it's so difficult to play against, right? I mean, you get around the corner, you're going to go fast. Zumba comes in with that Graviton. It's going to be both tanks getting knocked to the ground. It'll be Sable be able to help out Mono take out Wat7, and you see just that barrier being put around the wall, allowing his teammates to get around it. Here comes the Junkrat tire over the wall. See if that ult gets anything. It looks like Sable will be killing everybody since Sodic's able to take the tire out. So not going to pick up anything with the Junkrat ultimate, but just look how far up South Korea is pushed up. They are not letting Austria get any position.
And Austria are no army of the dead, but this is probably the best door holding I've ever seen from teams at this particular level here.
Hodor was pretty good at holding the doors.
He wasn't bad. I think that Mano might be able to fill in for him next season, maybe get sick of that, wants another job. But Zumba's going to back away. He's about half on the grab, and now Austria having to place himself on the point to try and fight this one out. Zumba's going to get the nano boost there. He communicated that it was fully charged, so the damage was going to be a factor. The grab comes in, but no, Austria can't capitalize on it because Sabiolbi takes down Kabaji before he can get those shots in.
Well, South Korea is winning those other team fights over by the choke, and they're not having to use any support ults, right? So the first time that you see Austria put pressure on, they dump a lot of ults into that fight. They're not able to make anything happen because you see the sound barrier come out.
If you ever see a Tracer get a pulse bomb kill on a Reaper, you must raise your eyebrows. Either Sabiolbi was very good at identifying the timing that Wraithwalk was down, or Kabaji didn't realize or wasn't able to respond quickly enough there to put himself in that invulnerable state.
And this is going to be trouble for Austria because you do have the Graviton Surge ready for South Korea, and you have the Junkrat tire as well. It's going to be a Death Blossom comes in from Kabaji and actually takes out Lijiang in Flower's ultimate ability as well. But Zumba and the rest of South Korea, they clean up Austria, and that should be map number 1.
All done and dusted there. Pretty strong showing from South Korea. That might be a bit of an understatement there, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. The South Koreans do come out with that different kind of composition. Now, it seems as if the Austrian squad was prepared or willing at least to respond in time with some of these picks here, but you can just see how the inclusion of the Tracer on the side of South Korea meant that Wat7 never really had a chance to sort of be able to play comfortably. His team were also afraid to actually try and benefit to a great degree from the shielding. Kabaji switching over towards that Reaper there, he knew that South Korea wanted to play up close in the chokes. He was hoping to actually get some damage done in that regard, but was not to be.
Yeah, and I think if you're Austria, right, I mean, we spoke to them a little bit. You can learn a lot from this matchup. Maybe there's some different things that South Korea is doing that you can throw on to your comps later in the tournament. And speaking to them, they were happy to just kind of get this match out of the way. I mean, in their group, you're obviously going to have to play South Korea. You get it out of the way in your first match, you go get some good practice against them, then you're better equipped to maybe go up against the Netherlands or Poland.
Well, first of all, it's a baptism of fire, which is a good start for Austria, there's no doubt about it. And they don't have to worry about it so much. It kind of sucks if, let's say, if you have to play South Korea last in your group and you drop like a map, you drop too many maps in some series, and all of a sudden you're like, well, we need to almost... Realistically here, guys, A lot of teams need to consider the South Korea series a write-off if they're going up against them. That's generally accepted amongst most of these guys, and you shouldn't even be expecting the South Koreans to have to flex their muscles maybe until the playoff stage. Maybe we do see like a team Russia or a Canada from the other group having to go up against them, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be pressured. I have heard good things from the Netherlands squad in their forays against South Korea so far, though.
Yeah, we heard they played them pretty tough. I know, you spoke to some of the guys from the Netherlands this morning. They said they had some very good scrims with South Korea, but I think you look, right? Austria gets this match out of the way. Maybe they play Poland tough. Maybe they play Netherlands tough. Then how much more pressure is it on Poland and Netherlands when they have to go up against South Korea, right? No, maybe they don't know they have to take a map, but they know they at least have to be competitive to vie for that second place spot.
And probably the most interesting facet of this match so far is worth considering is not that South Korea are playing this Reinhardt, Zarya, Junkrat composition. It's actually the fact that Austria are trying to emulate it straight out of the gate. You would really expect a team like Austria, with the practice they've had and the current meta the way it's been, to open up with a standard dive composition. So two things. Either they really respect the composition from South Korea and its ability to break dive, or they've been practicing it themselves. Maybe they've been watching South Korea and trying to, pull off the same approach as them.
I feel like this is a team that, they came in, they practiced a lot of dive, and maybe they heard some of the things that South Korea was doing. And I always personally, I just hate that when a team, they put so much time in, right? They practice the dive, they get really good at it. You practice another composition, you get really good at it. And then the other team brings something out, and you don't just try and stick with your guns and at least try for a few pushes before you change up. You see they tried to go with the Rhine at the beginning. It did not work out for Austria. I would have liked to see them just stick to their dive. And map number 2 will be picked by Austria, and it will be Nepal.
Yeah, definitely a bit more of an interesting map, and maybe one where we see... I mean, crazy that we're talking about seeing variation when we've just seen a new composition from both of these two teams, something that's very different to what's being played currently in the meta. So that's worth bearing in mind. I probably want to see a little bit more how the cogs engage in this team comp. We saw a lot of brawling, we saw a lot of playing up close by the Korean squad there, and it's very much a case of use your ultimates at Volition, make sure Flower has a bit of freedom in the backside to do damage. The problem with the approach that we saw from the Austrian team is that they couldn't really pressure Flower at all. They tried to play a Widowmaker to put him under pressure. Well, that didn't work. He got sleep darted straight away. Eventually he was forced to switch. Kabaji as well as a Reaper. Your biggest weakness is getting into position to do the damage, and Flower was so comfortable in the backline. We'll see, but South Korea again, they want to start with this Hanzo, which is just insane. Obviously, getting picks is important in any fight. It gives you a huge advantage, but see Hanzo here is quite interesting.
Well, I mean, Icky is going to go with the Widow as well, so Widow obviously an interesting pick as well. Just see the damage being put down by Flower, but first blood will be drawn by Austria as they're able to get Mana out of the question. And I would wonder, Kabaji, maybe you have him run the Tracer, because Tracer can give Ryan a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bit of pressure at least put in that direction there. South Korea likely know how to deal with it. Hanzo can blow up Tracer pretty quickly here, but most of the fight's been happening up on this top right side here. Flower's able to clean up pretty comfortably there. Sensotics and Ubabingo not really able to stand up to it. And now this is what this comp does. Zumba's going to move forward here. Maybe get some free energy. There you go. He baits the shot from Icky there quite comfortably. So now we're sitting closer to 50. With this Reinhardt, this Zarya, this Hanzo, you want to stand up close to the enemy team, get a lot of free damage from behind the shield, and make it hard to get encircled.
Oh, well, just think about what happens. I mean, right? They push in, scatter out, Jaehong throws down a nade, and you're in a lot of trouble. It's just filthy.
Oh no, this could be disgusting. Dragon Strike coming through. Flower already catches Itzeru out with a bit. Look at Ubabingo, he's purple. He got bite grenaded there as well. South Korea, a well-oiled machine, and we expect no less from them now. Sonic Arrow, just to see if there's any switches up here. This is about to get potentially depressing for Austrian fans.
Yeah, not good. I mean, you have coming up next, Zumba has that Graviton Surge. You have the Nano Boost if you want to use it, and so he does have that Tracer Pulse Bomb. So look to see Zumba and him buddy up, try and take out Austria before they can get even through this choke.
Kabaji's on the Tracer. He can flank from that position. You can get around behind Flower where he is. That's the Graviton. Kabaji trying to get to the back line now, but Savior, it's a quick double with the Pulse Bomb, and Ru Jaehong is going to be there to help clean up, and that is a macabre scene if I've ever seen one.
It's like Kabaji's able to get around on the flank, but the rest of his teammates are stuck over at the doorway. It has not gone well for Austria at the beginning. But
and look at this.
Zumba, they give a lot of free charge, man.
He just keeps topping up his energy because he knows that Austria are going to try and poke him down. Because Austria are feeling behind in old economy. They want to get some of these ultimates going. One of that Earth Shatter. Now he has it, and South Korea respect this. So they've identified something that gives them pause for thought, but that's a huge Earth Shatter. Oh, it's carnage! Manu with the charge in. The Fire Strike cleaned up Ubabingo, and Sensonics was just left on his own there. Perfect positioning, stepped back, gave himself the sidelines. And I believe it was a sleep dart on towards Watt 7 that opened that up. Ru Jaehong just put him out.
It is so crazy how fast he is with the sleep dart. You see the Rhine shield go down for just a second. The sleep dart comes in. A big Earth Shatter.
Oh my. Flower picks the head off of Icky there as well. It's just like an apple from the tree. And South Korea are going to take this first round here. And for Austria, definitely some questions. Kabaji has not had the chance to put pressure on the backline or even the Reinhardt of South Korea. South Korea are operating at nominal capacity because they're not being pressured into making mistakes. It's unlikely that we'll sort of see that happen too much from them anyway, but that's what Austria need to do. They need to pick them apart here because they are working as this death ball with so much damage potential. Something needs to be done.
Well, coming into the series, Kabaji, we heard about him, top 10 EU. We expected him to show up big, but just like you said, on the Tracer has not had the space to really make a big impact, right? When he's trying to go in, take out the Reinhardt, get into the back line, the rest of his teammates, they just push on forward. South Korea, they have the Graviton, they have the Earth Shatter, just take everybody out. He can't get anything done.
So the statistic in general, I think, if you win the first fight on a control point map, 69% of the time you're going to win that sub-map, right? And it usually takes only 3 to 4 fights. If you lose the first fight, you only have 3 to 4 chances to get back in control. Kabaji only had 2 fights. First one he got grabbed, second one he got earth-shattered, and Bob's your uncle.
Well, you just see as well, I mean, the first kill is going to go in favor of South Korea here. You see Toby, take out Kabaji, Lucio versus Tracer. But it's also that the ability that South Korea is able to win these fights once they get control without investing a ton of ultimate abilities in, right? I mean, when Flower's able to get that first pick when we saw him playing the Hanzo, just using regular scatter arrows and regular shots, you don't have to invest that many ultimates in. You're able to save some when you see Austria pop all theirs.
And here's another interesting team composition for you, Matt. We've got McCree and Genji, a composition that you very rarely see, and of course still that Zai is present there for Zunba and Mane. So Lijiang backing off there, doesn't quite connect the sleep dart, but Sabio has already found into it at the start of the fight. The strength of McCree is to pick off those squishy targets with big hitboxes from long distance, and the rest of the fight, of course, is going to snowball in South Korea's favor. Again, Austria have a maximum of 3 fights now to get some control. Kabaji switching over towards the Reaper.
And now you're building up ults for South Korea. So you have the Deadeye, right? If players start to come in, you can use it to zone them out. You're getting very close to the Dragon Blade and the Nano Boost. Sound Barrier just about to pop up for Toby. So you have a lot of ultimates to work with for South Korea. And here comes the Deadeye. Just trying to zone these players out, push them back a little bit.
Again, yeah, we still call it zoning Deadeye, even though it's, the circles for the Happy Little Skulls converge far quicker now. It buys time for South Korea. It forces Austria to sort of filter themselves through yet again. You can see Sensonics taking a lot of damage even by just trying to peek around. South Korea want to punish every positional error or slight mistake that Austria are making. Now Sabiobi is going to have this flash ready. We'll see if he wants to get close. Not quite yet. Icky's already fallen though. The pickoffs are real.
Oh, and here comes the Dragon Blade. It's going to be Flower flying through one. Sees the Reaper waiting till he gets out of race form. Not able to take him out. Oh, there you go. Kabaji for the friendly hold.
The respect is so real. Kabaji's like, it would be an honor to get wrecked by you, Sir Flower. And he says, you do not deserve that honor. Backs away towards the point.
He's
That's
like,
BM.
all right, fine. He's like, I'll go kill him now.
Yeah, even not killing him is BM in that way, but it's by the by. 85%, Austria, last fight to come in. No ultimates to speak of. Maybe a sound barrier, but this could all be done. It's going to be the grab coming in. Earthshatter tried to get behind the shield. He did manage to do it, actually. Uber Bingo was laying on the ground. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far as Mano got very close to Kabaji.
Yeah, now you have Austria getting on the point here. Toby just going to run right through the Ryan shield. He's going to be able to take out Watt 7. You see the bar going down pretty quick. Everybody dead on Austria. That'll be a 2-0 here in map number 2 in favor of South Korea.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward cleanup here. And that, Matt, obviously takes us to the halfway point in this series. And South Korea really haven't seen too much resistance so far from Team Austria. And yes, a lot of these fights, especially on this control map we just saw in Nepal, were initiated by a pick for the Korean team. Sabio was like, oh, we're playing.
And you just see the versatility of this lineup, right? I mean, you see the Hanzo come out on Flower yet again. You've seen him run Junkrat in this series. Now you see him with the Genji. You've seen Sabio be running McCree. It's just a very, very scary team. Potentially even stronger than last year.
And look, again, realistically, it's very hard to make an academic assessment of the potential or the pluses and negatives of this team comp out from South Korea, because they are mixing it up to a great degree. I do want to hear a little bit from Reinforce in a moment to see he might be able to explain some of the intricacies of it, but again, we don't actually get to see those strengths and weaknesses revealed in any particular way because they're not being pressured. They're not being pressured to make mistakes. So Kabaji and Icky are making a lot of switches here. We've seen Widow, we've seen 76, we've seen Tracer, we've seen Reaper. No success thus far, and Matt, we're going to have to see if there's a recovery after the break. But for now, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be getting back to the desk to break down the half-time situation here between South Korea and Austria.
ravaged our world. And the balance that sustained us has been lost. We feared this day would come when the lands are ruined and the champions of the light can no longer save those in need. But I will. For I wield the power they cannot. And a new army of the dead shall rise at my command. All who threaten the balance, beware.
The Overwatch World Cup 2017 is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, and Blizzard Entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, there were children watching that game. And, you know, the sad reality of it is I hope parents at home had covered the eyes of those children so they didn't see what had took place. Or if you're trying to get better at Overwatch, you let them watch it. So, hey, Zumba, best friends because Zarya, you know? Happy about that. That was dope. Thoughts?
I'm just in so much pain right now that I find it hard to articulate it. I was happy to see Sensotics on Zarya, his main. He likes it. Icky got to play Widow. He loves Widow. So I guess that's two positives. Like,
Kabaji actually did play.
But the issue is like, okay, so Kabaji gets some kills. What, 7 might have been able to follow up, and then the whole team is dead, and where to go from there, right? So they just never really... Kabaji never has been given the space by his team to actually really do the work he would have liked to do. It's very unlucky, the whole game. All of this was very unlucky.
Again, it's about just getting it out of the way first, right?
Yeah.
This is the biggest hurdle in the group, getting...
They laughed afterwards.
Yeah. They were really high spirits afterwards.
Yeah, I think they liked it.
That's the approach you have to take, really. You can't beat yourself up when you do have the heavy favorites as your first opponents here. But, I mean, we saw some great play coming out from Korea, and we saw the versatility that we were talking about. And this is, you know, when you build a computer, you talk about maybe trying to, like, future-proof it. And this is what South Korea has done with their roster, future-proofing. They can bring out any kind of composition that they want, and they showed it with particularly Flower just flexing on 3 separate heroes over the course of 2 maps. Yeah.
Do you think they're practicing for BlizzCon?
Yeah, this is practice game.
I don't know.
I don't even know. Like, I mean, you got to deal with them,
dude,
if they get there. So
error 404, analysis not found. I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. No, I think that I don't know about Austria bringing the Ryan Zarya up versus them. They're just playing South Korea's game. Flower just playing Hanzo. I don't think he died once. I'm not sure. Let's just say he didn't die once. But you want to pressure that backline. I mean, you're just letting Sunba and Mono on the Ryan and Zarya. They're just standing there, and you're not getting past them. If you go for like a Winston and Genji, maybe you can shut down the real damage behind South Korea's lineup. Maybe shut down Selby on the McCree. He was playing occasionally, and Flower on the Hanzo. But instead, you just let Flower just pull off highlights like this pretty much throughout the game.
The issue with Austria is just also they don't. I mean, they are known for running double hit scan with this lineup. They don't really have a good Genji player. Do you really want to put someone on Genji who's not excelling at it, perfect at it? If you go up against South Korea, yeah, but
like,
no.
I mean, I hate to be that guy, but you might as well.
I mean, we have seen Dive, you know, devolve into like 2-2-2, where you do have a Tracer, Winston, and then a 76 and Diva, right? So they could opt for that. The issue is just that it's a multi-pronged threat coming out from South Korea, right? Even though if you can get it to the back line, Ryu Jae-hong, we saw even throughout the series, he was landing really clutch sleep darts on the primest of targets. And how do you deal with that kind of pressure?
He landed a sleep dart across the whole map.
Oh, yeah. Onto the Widowmaker on Kingsway, I forgot about that.
Oh, Sluck. That was I'm playing for Team Sweden. I'm not going to hype up this South Korea team too much.
Does that make you worried at all?
No.
Seeing this? No? Okay.
We're going to beat them.
Oh, okay.
Easy game.
He said it right
Easy.
there. The camera should be on me. He's making no sense.
Gauntlet thrown down.
Bring at it. Bring at it.
Okay.
I'm going to so pay for this. Like, this is a bad idea. I don't know.
We're gonna bring that up and play it on
We're gonna bring
repeat.
it up over and
just
I don't know
make
where it
sure.
came from. Just a Freudian slip. I don't know.
Look, here's the truth of the matter. I mean, look, that was brutal. That was very, very tough to watch. You know, if you are a fan of Austria, but I think everyone kind of knew going into this that South Korea were going to be very strong. They were going to be a very dominant team, and without a doubt, I think this is just further refines and proves that point. But now, guys, we are ready to get back into the action. It's going to be the pick of Austria here against South Korea. We'll see if they can make anything happen, or for South Korea, just keep letting the good times roll on. Uber X, over to you.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. And Johnny, I don't know what a Frodan slip is, mate, but I don't think you got the right color jacket for that one, bro.
I just imagine Tavik at home just shaking his head like, wow.
Why have I dragged this guy kicking and screaming through Overwatch?
Because Tavik is like, it's actually my problem now. Johnny's just going to stand there and be the meat shield.
Exactly, and everyone's going to be on Reddit. It's like, Tavik, you know,
he
all
couldn't
this
get
trash
it done.
talk. He thought he could beat the Korean squad. Well, that's by the by, Matt. But let's have a look at the standings right now. Obviously, these, well, you know, if you want, maybe we'll just turn it off. That's fine. Let's have a look at the map, though. That's even more exciting.
I'd rather look at the map.
It's got prettier pictures, in my opinion. It still has the flags there, South Korea and Austria, but Volskaya Industry is going to be the next map. So Austria, having lost the first two, they will be probably choosing the rest of the maps in this series. If I'm honest with you, Volskaya to our third.
Volskaya with this really close choke. I don't know why they didn't go for like Horizon Lunar Colony. To get a little bit more open, right? They would have given themselves a little bit more space maybe to operate on the offensive end, and maybe make something happen. I see Symmetra out.
Yeah, I see Symmetra. I hope that's not a thing. That's a meme from last year, actually. Yeah. I think it was Tyrong. I want to say it was Tyrong that played Symmetra. No, okay, so Lijiang is going to play the Ana, which is pretty frightening. Austria, on the defense, they're going to be having a Sombra here as well. We don't know too much about how they work with the Sombra. Itzeru is going to have a go at that one, but they're playing with a single support as a result.
So yesterday when we did the interviews, they said they were not comfortable playing the Sombra. So I think one way to get comfortable is you try it out here against South Korea, right? You practice it a little bit more here in an actual game.
Matt, that's not a thing at all, mate. That is not a thing. Austria playing a dive composition, though, so they switched away from the right-hand Zarya. South Korea still have Zunba on that Zarya here, and they are just going to force their way through on towards Austria. They circle around, take the high ground, and Austria, again, just acquiesces and comes forward towards South Korea. Fights in this small space without an Ana, by the way. And Lijiang just gets a huge body grenade, and the cleanup is real.
Yeah, it's a tough one. First point will go to South Korea very fast. You see some switches being made here from Austria. You'll have Icky go over to the Reaper. See if that works a little bit better as we go to the second point.
Okay, so Reaper, and perhaps a little bit of anti-Zumba here as well. It's okay if Zarya is shielded up just to try and burst that shield down and remove her as quickly as possible. So Icky will try and play up close to that. The composition, I'll be honest with you, is pretty weird from Austria, but now EMP is laid down. South Korea without their abilities for the moment, and Manos now just has to back away a little bit, but Flower's doing the damage for him. He's down to 60 HP, and the man, the Houdini, of course, is going to get away. He even gets some healing there from Lijiang. That should probably not have happened, but it is the getaway plan, and Mano knows exactly what he's doing.
And they just back off a little bit when the EMP comes in. They're able to sustain through it. Flower able to demech Diva, and they push right on in. It'll be attacked by as they're coming in. There goes Sombra. South Korea on the point, getting very close to taking point B. There'll be a contest from Kabaji. The sound barrier comes in for South Korea. They should be able to hold on and take this.
And it's about stalling for as long as they can. Graviton Surge being used. Flower with 3 there behind the wall, of course, was Icky hiding up on that mate pick, but it's not enough. It's not remotely enough. And Sebiolbi, you know, getting a bit of a workout in there as well. These guys are definitely feeling comfortable coming through. And that was a strong performance there. We saw a lot of switches from this roster here from Austria. They're very ready to make changes in their team composition. I appreciate the acumen of being able to identify sort of what the best approach is, but when you don't have a chance to actually use ultimates because you're switching heroes so much, it can be very, very hard to get yourself back into a game after you sort of get broken in a fight.
Yeah, I do think, though, trying out the Sombra, right? I mean, you can see how it goes on that first point. You know, they try and play off that mega health pack. It doesn't work out to the best. I mean, they just get kind of wiped from there. But maybe now they go in, they go back and work on it, right? Like, what could we have done out of that position to give ourselves a better chance? Then you come back in your next matches and you can actually play Sombra a little bit better.
Yeah, you make a decent point. I think even spotting out the Sombra here for South Korea, they probably would have guessed that, right, they're going to try and play in the garage around that mega health pack here. We're going to take the fight to them. We're going to force them to engage. Otherwise, they have to give up that hacked mega and all that potential ult percentage for the Sombra here. So, well, yeah, you know, this is not a drill. It's a hammer. And a Flower, of course, going to be representing here on the Torbjorn.
Everyone loves a little Torb in their life.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to be said for this guy. I'm not going to use an academic justification for this pick here. I don't think that's going to make much sense. I'm getting motion sick as well. Thank you, Flower. He'll set up, he'll put a turret outside the point, try and get some early ult percentage accrued by that. Then he'll build a new one closer back towards the point. Austria with the classic quick play, Widowmaker and Hanzo comp. Interesting to see if they open with that one. I'd say not.
Yeah, maybe Kabaji goes over to the Tracer. I mean, he's been able to get into position, just not finish off kills. That's really what it's been about. I mean, he's been able to get in that position when his teammates go to try and follow him up. They can't get through the chokes.
I'm told also that Sensotics is a big Zarya aficionado here, so it's not necessarily that Austria were purposely copying South Korea so far with that Zarya pick, but more because Sensotics is very comfortable on it. He didn't get much done. Okay, he didn't get anything done with D.Va in that previous half, so now for Austria, it's go with what you're comfortable with. And it looks like it might be the double sniper rollout here from Iki and Kabaji. I see this more often than I'd like to in quick play. Let's see if it works out here for Austria now. It's all about getting those picks.
You see South Korea just baiting them onto the point. They have that Torbjorn turret over by that mega health pack inside the staircase. So you can see the position Flower's playing from. They're going to bait them onto the point, and that Torb turret's going to do a ton of damage.
Now, Flower just sitting out towards the side now. Bubble is placed up in the middle of the map. And Zumba and Mano are taking a lot of damage here. These snipers are finding their marks, but eventually once South Korea decides to get aggressive on those snipers, that's what happens. Toby chased down Iki, and they was able to pick him up. You can see inside the room, Mano just getting healed up and now ready to jump back into the fray.
Well, just look how worried Austria is about coming around that corner. You know, you have Sable B playing up top on the Tracer, just doing a little bit of poke damage. It's not allowing those snipers to get in those positions around the corner to take out the supports of South Korea. It's a very interesting strategy, but working here early.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They're obviously afraid of the Torbjorn pick here for Flower.
They are
in the underside. But they're giving him a lot of ult percent as well, but they're not pushing around the corner. Once they eventually commit to the fight, they're going to be face first into the turret, which could be quite nasty. Nano boost being used there. Zumba going quite low early in the fight, and Toby now has to kind of catch up with the rest of his team. South Korea go for an aggressive pick, and again, you must do this. 2 snipers on the enemy team means that you have to dive on them. And South Korea, as you can imagine, are more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't able to get space for your Tracer. It's going to be very hard to get space for, you know, Hanzo and Widowmaker to try and make a play.
The fact that they're playing double support and Torbjorn is ridiculous. You just never see it happen. Sometimes your Lucio player will play Torbjorn. You have an Anna if you want to play on Hollywood or Numbani. There's no decent justification for this pick from Flower.
Well, usually you see Toby run the Torbjorn, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, seeing Flower run it, playing those 2 supports, it's very rare. So we'll see if Austria can get back in, make something happen. They're getting very close to Primal Rage. You have that nano boost as well. Maybe you're able to get on the point and cause some commotion, make something happen.
Maybe they want to go for a Dragon Strike Graviton Surge combo as well. They might just want to try and break South Korea. Down with that, but Iki challenges out Sabiomi, tries to go straight towards him. Is cut down in the process. Flower backs away, almost has that Molten Core ready for his turret. He's waiting for that extra 1%. I don't know if he got it. No, he didn't get to use his Molten Core in that fight at all. His turret is taken down, but Mano's found 2 kills over on the point, and Zumba has his self-destruct.
Yeah, he was so close to getting the Molten Core, but believe it was Watson able to take out the turret. Here comes Austria getting on the point. They have a lot of ultimates. You see Zumba, he's going to use that D.Va ult, try and push it down onto the point. He's going to come back in his mech, just putting in a lot of damage here onto Uber Bingo. You take out the Lucio, that's a big kill.
That's pretty big, yeah. I mean, Sensotic's going down now. Wat7's going to be chased down and picked up, and one thing I want to point out here is that your mech as D.Va counts as another entity in the game until it self-destructs after you've ejected from it. If you've ever trolled your teammates by, you know, sort of nudging them slightly by moving your model and colliding with theirs and clipping on them in game, you can set that up with D.Va like we just saw there from Zumba. Puts it on the edge, a couple nudges just like you would to try and knock that Widowmaker off the ledge at the start of that quick play round, and it actually lets him sort of change the position of his self-destruct when people already expect it to be on the high ground.
Well, right. In the heat of the action, you see that self-destruct on top of that little platform. You're
so
like,
where do you go? You go underneath in the room, and that, you would have died if you'd been caught by that.
And it's going to be Flower with the Molten Core. The Graviton comes in from Austria. A few bullets to the face of Sensonics is all he needs.
He's nano boosted and has a Molten Core. This is unbelievable. Flower is just going to charge stage 4 when he fights 7 and Kabaji.
What do you do?
What, nothing. I mean, that is the 2017 Symmetra play that we saw from South Korea last year. So Flower's just playing whatever it feels like here in South Korea. It is definitely a display of power. There's 15 seconds left here for Austria to even get a scratch on this first point.
Austria, I mean, they push in, they get a nice Graviton, they trap him over by the Mega Health Pack, and they push in, they get Molten Core nano boosted down by Flower. You see he's hiding around the corner, trying to just pick one player off as they get a little bit too aggressive, coming alone towards the point.
The fact that we're talking about, crouching turret, hidden Torbjorn is just a thing in itself. He found Icky as well. Bomb was dropped there. I think it was shielded out, so Ubingo's able to stay alive, but it doesn't matter. Austria weren't even on the point. Flower again featuring with another kill, and South Korea look as placid as you like. And a dominant performance that we all would have expected here. Notice also that Jaehong plays on a raised surface is what he's sort of used to using. Yeah. So there's actually a platform on his desk where he puts his mouse. He uses his wrist bent at a 120-degree angle when he sort of plays. And if you know, he has quite a low sensitivity. So it's a very unique setup for him. And at least they've been able to sort of, I guess, try and emulate or simulate that setup here in Katowice. And there was Ubingo eyeing down the camera. He knew that things were going to go this way. There's a certain sense of inexorability for a team like Austria going up against South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, Austria, Bingo specifically, when they were kind of coming through the back.
Quick, make a face for the camera.
Yeah, they were extremely, happy, good spirits going into the match. They knew it was going to be a very difficult task going up against South Korea. They kind of accepted that coming into this one. South Korea has been dominant. And Jaehong, I wish he could just kind of, go in the future a little bit. His wrists, when he's like 30.
Yeah.
Gonna feel awful.
I mean, I don't really know. I'm not really well learned in ergonomics there, but that probably can't be a great thing for you in general. So at this point now, last map's going to be Escort. Austria obviously can only get a maximum of one map in this series. It's likely that they sort of won't get that one at this stage. But one thing about South Korea that's quite crazy is that you'd think of them very serious, and very driven to win, and they are. But what impresses me so much is that they also have a lot of fun with it. So they sort of say to each other, like they were sort of messing around. I think it was talked about on the desk that, they sort of gave up a point and their coach or one of the players said, all right, guys, settle down. Like we shouldn't be letting this happen. But while they're still displaying this incredible mechanical prowess and strategic insight, they're also laughing and carrying on and having a good time.
It's important to have fun. Right? I mean, we've heard, seen stuff in show matches where, they'll go back to the spawn, everybody will change heroes, come on back out again. This team just has a lot of fun playing together. They know how good they are, how diverse they can be in their hero pool. You see them showing it here in their first match against Austria.
Now, of course, Flower on the far right of the screen. I think the youngest player representing here. There's actually, crazily enough, right, the coach of Luxury Watch Blue, who's not on the committee or anything, but he's here actually as Flower's legal guardian to allow him to sort of travel like that. So he's sort of here helping Flower and sort of supporting him, and must be kind of nice to have your coach there as well. I don't really know how much Flower's going to be put through the ringer in terms of the opposition he goes up against, but there's a very strong sense of support amongst the Korean crew. I mean, I believe there are fans in the crowd, and I could be wrong, but they're here obviously supporting the South Korean team. They may have even come all the way from Seoul. I wouldn't be that surprised. Their fans are crazy invested.
Extremely dedicated. The last map in this series will be Dorado. And I think, South Korea, we see them go on. They make it out of this group, obviously, looking like they potentially, obviously, take first place. Maybe you see a rematch of last year's final going up against Russia. Maybe you see a very strong Canada team this year play them. I think that's where they could potentially be tested.
It's quite funny, actually, because if we talked to the South Korean squad, and that was sort of very humble, as you would expect, very polite. They also said they feel like there'd be even less resistance from teams like Russia and such this time around.
I don't know.
Whereas teams like Russia are like, oh yeah, look, I mean, we think the South Korean squad is maybe not as strong as last year or where it's stronger. So big words. Look, I don't want to sort of throw anyone under the bus here as well, but basically both teams are feeling confident if that rematch is going to come around, which is very possible in the event that Canada beat Russia in a deciding game in the other group. We'll get to that kind of theory crafting later on, but for now, we're on Dorado. Austria's team composition here again is featuring that Zarya and the Reinhardt combination, a defensive Widowmaker. That's definitely, that's raising my eyebrow. It doesn't take much to get me to do that in general, but this is, an interesting approach.
I feel like the defensive Widow is like the perfect target. Like if you are one of the guys in South Korea, maybe going on a dive, maybe it's your Flower, right? Her stable will be trying to get behind the back line. As soon as you see that Widow up top and you're able to jump on her, that is probably a great target to go at first, and we'll see what South Korea does. Don't know if this will be it, but
Honestly,
like
at
we've
this
seen
stage,
everything. I would not be surprised. Usually, I just kind of wait until it starts. Okay, they switch off of the Bastion, but you will see the Junkrat here, at least at the start on offense.
That building is a very common spot for aggressive defenses to set up there with Winstons and Divas and the like. So he was just scouting that out earlier on to see if he got any hit markers. Mano gets bursted down very quickly, but is able to back away. Initially, that was Kabaji doing a heck of a lot of damage inside that choke. However, South Korea will advance unhindered so far. Sabiolba gets a quick burst of healing back. And South Korea are ready to rumble once again.
We'll see. No, now I usually see the Junkrat on defense, right? Just spamming the choke. Now you're
Misfits
seeing
used
it
to
on
play
offense.
this a lot on defense, actually.
Yes. And now you're seeing them just back up the side of Austria. The Junkrat doing a phenomenal job, putting down so much damage. You see that Rhine shield break in, the mine sending Zarya flying. Looks like Toby slept on the car here for South Korea. He's going to be able to get up with his life. But you see how low they have Watt 7 in that corner. You think maybe his shield's dropped as well. He's in a tough spot.
Yeah, of course, because how can you keep your shield up when it's constantly being pummeled by Flower? You're taking so much damage every second, and you need to be far more judicious when you actually use that shield itself. If he finds Flower, though, that's what Austria are trying to do with the Widowmaker, to pick off the Junkrat. But here, it might not win them the fight. Zumba's going to get nano boosted here. He's got a Graviton if he requires it, and South Korea won't be stopped here.
Yeah, it'll be kills coming in from South Korea. I thought that fight actually may have gone Austria's way at the beginning. South Korea just too strong. You see the nano boost come in, the Graviton surge as well. They do have Primal Rage and Deadeye for the next fight, but it'll be South Korea getting that first point here on Dorado.
Yeah, all the good stuff available. The fight started well for Austria. Icky managed to find the pick, but after the fact, he didn't seem to be able to make too much of an impact here. Again, he's getting a lot of damage done, but he's not completing kills. He's allowing South Korea to gain ultimate percent for Rujehong and Toby by doing all this healing. If you're going to get damage done, you're going to get these little picks. Make sure you can guarantee and secure kills. If your body's showing a lot as Widow, if you're not getting critical hits, you're not really having the impact you'd like to. All you're really doing is charging up your own recon visor.
And how hard is it for Kabaji probably, right? I mean, you're trying not to get hit by the Junkrat spam. Then you know Sabiolba is back there as McCree. You're not trying to run into his flashbang, so really taking a lot of the lanes he can go in away from him.
Now Flower now just a lone man on the payload, but look at this. No, everyone's filtered into this small little gap, and Flower's going to drop a remote mine down. Point blank, he's more than happy to let the grenades go, because guess what? He's not affected by them anymore. He jumps over the Earth Shatter. I'm not sure what happened there. He seems to avoid most of the damage, and Flower continues his reign of terror. There's a heck of a lot of damage through there, and off-camera Sabiolba's getting the picks on Sensonics and Itero. This will be South Korea continuing on unhindered through this second phase. We're now hitting one of the most treacherous parts of the map for attacking teams. You can be held here, but I'd be very surprised if that were the case for the South Koreans.
Yeah, and Kabaji uses his pulse bomb during that fight, doesn't get anything for it. He has to back all the way out. Siaki go off of the Widowmaker, gonna go with the 76. So trying to put a little bit more consistent damage down on the South Korean team, but they have had no answer for the Junkrat play of Flower. So you see South Korea just pushing on forward. Here comes the Deadeye. It's just popped for a little bit. Now he's going to have to back out. It was Kabaji putting a lot of pressure on his Sabiolba, but you see everything in the feed going in favor of South Korea. Watt 7 swinging his hammer. He's getting pushed back. No chance of him getting towards the payload. Boober Bingo, yep, you're going to fall as well. It's just so dominant, Mitch.
Right, it is. It's getting ridiculous by this point. So Sabiolba is well on that McCree. You notice he keeps himself quite safe in this position. Cancel the Deadeye. That's because Icky jumped off the high ground on Soldier 76, was so intent on trying to shut him down. We're sort of discussing over a lot this gameplay, ladies and gentlemen, because it's essentially Austria being staggered out, and sort of we're waiting for them to try and regroup at this stage. Kabaji needs to be very careful. It's very tough to get in on Sabiolba, and it's easier than you'd think to get caught out by a Junkrat as a tracer. If you get trapped, you can't recall out of that one. If you fall into just one grenade, you're almost dead. It's very, very dangerous, and you need to pick your routes of approach very carefully. Kabaji has a pulse bomb here. He needs to nail this one.
Needs to make something happen with it, and he's going to take out Mina. So big kill there from Kabaji, taking out the Winston of South Korea. It's going to be the Graviton Surge coming in, though. There's a lot of players stuck inside. It's going to be Sabiolba taking out 2 with the Deadeye. It's going to be a nano-boosted Zumba as well, putting down a ton of damage. He finds that support here. It's going to be Itzeru going down. And they know exactly where the Tracer's going. A big Earthshadow, though, coming out from Watt 7. There'll be a barrier, though, keeping the teammates alive as the payload keeps on moving forward for South Korea.
Yeah, and that was Flower there letting off a point-blank Riptire, I think, over towards Watt 7. But South Korea being forced to retreat for possibly the first time in this match. Austria managed to establish themselves here. Ultimate-wise for South Korea, there's not a whole lot. Actually, sorry, no, the Riptire was still available for Flower there. That icon was him getting a kill after he'd fallen. It was this sort of martyrdom, as you call it in other games. So he has a Riptire ready to use. I'm kind of curious to see how he wants to make this one work for him. There's a lot of damage potential, given how closely Austria have to be sort of packed on this part of the map, on the high ground especially.
Maybe Austria can make something happen in this fight, right? They have the Graviton Surge, they have the TAC Visor. You're going to get another Pulse Bomb as well. So you have a lot of good ultimates. Sound barrier coming up here too. So you have a lot of ultimates to use here. If you're Austria, maybe you can get another hold.
Again, that pulse bomb for Kabaji's back again. Last time he managed to find Manu with it. Now he could get even more. Graviton is being used by Sensonics here. It doesn't look like he's caught a whole lot in there. In fact, South Korea willingly dive into that one. The sound barrier was there for Toby. That's going to keep them alive a little bit longer, but they committed themselves to being all strung together and done up with a bow. And Austria had enough damage ultimates to capitalize off that one. There will be another hold here in South Korea. Again, want to charge some ultimates. Flower has now made a respectful switch to the Soldier 76.
Yeah, and Icky uses his tac bias there. He's only able to get 1 kill with it, but it just pushes him so far back. That's where you really miss the D.Va to have that defense matrix push on through. And see Zumba, he's actually going to pop his Graviton. It'll be 3 players stuck inside it. They all fall. And now you think South Korea, they do such a good job at extending these fights. It's a full team wipe in favor of South Korea. Now they're going to push on forward towards the Austria spawn. So right there, you thought Austria was going to be able to get another team fight win. They just kept backing up, backing up, backing up. Such a good job stalling that fight out.
There's one chance here for Austria to get to the payload. Kabaji has to try and throw himself at it there, and it just wasn't going to be enough. South Korea do finish them out with a decent amount of time left. And if you notice that last fight, you could see that it was actually forced. South Korea said, okay, well, at least someone, I believe the shot caller, maybe even Lijiang at that point, you saw him deliver the nano boost to Zumba while Zumba was actually backpedaling out of the door towards the outside of the map. So it's quite clear to see that South Korea had identified, okay, Austria have now extended a little bit too far. They give the nano boost towards Zumba. He's about half charged, so he's still doing a lot of damage. And then Lijiang catches Wat7 in the lower corridor with a sleek dart. Instant pick off, and then they followed up there with a string of kills that were staggered out to such a degree that even once Austria had respawned, there was only enough time for Kabaji to briefly dip his toe on towards the point. The rest of the team just couldn't get there.
And that's a perfect example of what a lot of the other teams told us, coming in, going against South Korea, about how good they were of taking advantage of your mistakes. They see them push up a little bit too far, and they keep everybody alive, back out just a second. Sleep Dart comes in. As soon as it comes in, you see the Graviton come in from Zumba. It's all the kills in favor of South Korea. Austria's never even to get back towards the payload.
And also we did see Flower being forced to make the switch there with Junkrat, and much the same way as it is for Xayah sometimes. If you want to operate on multiple levels, or if you're on a low ground and you want to interact with players on the high ground, it can be somewhat hard to do without exposing yourself to them, by sort of walking up to them. So switch to 76, it's a bit more respectful, but you can see the impact of this Junkrat. If you don't have the ability to pressure him out, to dictate his positioning, to jump on him, to give him a Discord orb, or any of the above, then the damage potential he has is the highest in the game.
Yes, I mean, he just causes a ton of chaos. I mean, just the spam of grenades into chokes just keeps pushing you back, pushing you back, pushing you back. Especially then you're going to play Rein, so now your shield is down. You don't have that protection for the teammates. And then you're in a lot of trouble.
He feels the role of what we used to see Roadhog in these triple tank comps. It was all about breaking the Reinhardt shield first, and Roadhog was very good at doing that from long range and even getting up close to the left click. Now Junkrat is fulfilling that sort of role here, and Austria coming out with potentially something a little bit different here. They've got a Mercy Bastion approach with a Reinhardt on the payload. It is cheesy, but we love a bit of that here in Katowice.
See if the Bastion Reinhardt strat. At this point, you pull out just about anything, and see South Korea, they see the Bastion, they're going to back up a little bit. See if the nades from Flower can get anything done. Now they send the D.Va up to try and protect, so you have the D.Va defense matrix and the Rein shield. It's a kill there on the Zumba. He pokes out a little bit too far, so Austria gets first blood in this first fight.
So I need to point out that all of Austria's healing resources being dedicated to Icky, and then when you get bionated like that, you've got 2 players that their main job is to heal up your Bastion that are getting nothing done. Bastion is so susceptible to South Korea's composition because of Anna and because of Junkrat. It's not a good pick for Austria. It was never going to work against his composition, even in a conceptual sense. And Austria are going to have to go back to the drawing board, and they've even had Kabaji staggered out by Sabiolbi. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, once the matrix goes down and once the shield is broken, there's nothing they can do to protect Bastion. Yeah, he's going to have a tough time moving around in that street. Trying to get set up, but not going to happen.
And this is what Sabiolbi wants to do. He wants to harass here, come from a couple of different angles and put pressure on these squishy targets. Manu hits Kabaji. I think he actually dashed straight into a fire strike. Manu gets double the money for nothing, and now Icky's going to get chunked out. Sabiolbi walks up to him here. The Korean team don't have to offer respect because they've not been forced to. They're going to come forward and deliver the damage and have no fear about the consequences.
Kabaji probably thinks he's safe as soon as he gets to the side of Sabiolbi. McCree gets out of the way. He walks right into a flame strike from Rein. And now you have both tanks here getting staggered for Austria. You see there, Wat7 trying to get out with his life. He is so weak, trying to keep that shield up. He's going to make it out with his life, but you do have the Mercy Res maybe coming in this one. You're going to have to get everybody grouped up if you're Austria. You see Sabiolbi, oh, nice save there.
Good. That's what we need to see.
Yeah, D.Va flying in. It's going to be Sensonics eating that up. And you hear the Bastion ult coming through. We'll see if Austria can make something happen. It's going to be 2 kills with the Diva Bomb. Watch 7 going to be able to get 1. But here comes another Earth Shatter out. It's going to be Watson knocking down 1. South Korea fighting back.
Yeah, you know what? The biggest part of that fight for Austria wasn't even the Bastion that got nano boosted. It was a Diva Bomb that was placed really nicely by Sensonics. His last couple of minutes has been fantastic, but Saviobi there, no fear. Happy to challenge down Itzaru even after he got by a grenade. Now he'll chase for more. Look at that dink on Kabaji. Forces an instant recall, and that's a timing that South Korea will be keeping in the back of their heads. It's very important to know when the enemy tracer doesn't have a recall available, when you can just throw burst damage in. To force that out before the fight starts is very, very, very fortuitous.
And Austria uses a lot of ultimates in that fight, Mitch. Now they're only down to the Mercy res. It's a nice flame strike there on the Watt 7, so you get the Rhine out of the way. I think maybe you switch off the Rhine. You know, when you have that Junkrat just putting down so much damage, there comes in the Mercy res. You got to try something a little different.
Ooh, that Graviton not really connecting with where someone would have liked it. I think he tried to do it from up on the high ground there, but it didn't catch the people that just got rezzed up by Uber Bingo. Still, I mean, you know, it's by the by at this stage. This is aggressive positioning for a McCree, by the way. If you're watching at home and wondering if this is the done thing, it's really not. Saviobi generally, a McCree needs a little bit of babysitting, but he knows he's confident. He can come forward. He's going to hit the headshots. He's going to get those flashbangs. He's got a little bit of an escape inside that dodge roll, and you can see Kabaji getting taken down by Zunba. Matt, this is a bloodbath. We expected no less. I said a macabre scene earlier on here. I wouldn't even want this hung on a wall in a dungeon. It's so hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Iggy gets a pick there on Widow now. Going back to the trusted Widowmaker pick as he's able to take out Saviobi, and it's going to be an Earth Shatter. And you just turn your head as soon as you saw that happen. It's not going to go well for Austria here, as the player's just trying to walk into the choke, getting caught up inside of it.
You can see Flower there as well, dealing with the flankers in the backline. Not normally the job of the Junkrat, but this time he's taken it upon his shoulders with aplomb. He has a Riptire ready, and this is going to be the explosive finale to this match that we all expect. You can see Kabaji doesn't even want to come forward. It's a zoning Riptire, and it actually does the job pretty well. South Korea have held pretty comfortably there on that first point on this map. Their goal, I believe, coming into the World Cup was not to lose a point. Last year it was not a map, and I believe they may have even succeeded in that so far in this series.
I mean, maybe that's just too much pressure. I think not dropping a map would be excellent, obviously, just like last year. I mean,
they want to go one better.
Yeah, they want to come to the World Cup and dominate, show why they're the best country in the world at Overwatch.
Brutal, savage, Shrek'd. South Korea are looking as dominant as we all expected them to. Let's head back over the desk now with Golden Boy and a crew to try and find any remains of Austria amongst the debris.
All right, well, thank you so much, Uber and Mr. X. In South Korea comes out on top 4-0 in that one. And I have to say, you know, that was just a zoning Riptire. Like, I mean, you know, you've heard it all at this point now. And it's good. I mean, it's good, right? Like, this is what you wanted to hear from South Korea.
You saw the sound barrier come out to make sure he stayed alive, but yeah, ultimately, it was just a clinic put on by South Korea, really flexing their muscles and showing what they can do. Particularly if we saw Flower throughout the course of the 4 maps, he really showed how deep his hero pool is, pulling out, I believe, 5 separate heroes over that. We had the Hanzo early on, the Junkrat, Torb, 76, and the Genji. That man could do it all.
I mean, he pulled out the Torbjorn with a double support comp. I don't even know what that was. He got nano boosted on Torbjorn.
Yeah.
In a DPS role. I don't know what to say, man.
He was really trying to hammer home the point.
Oh, you're the...
no, I'll give him that one.
I give you a slow clap for this one.
One slow, mediocre clap. About 4
I'll
of them.
take it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm really scraping for things here, but we saw diversity from Austria. Icky switched from Bastion to Widow to May to...
Yeah, but I think it was kind of like, it looked kind of desperate, right?
No, what?
He was just like, I know exactly how to counter this South Korea lineup, you know? Bastion, Widow. Yeah. You know.
It's worth
no,
trying,
but I think it looked pretty promising on that last attack, you know, with the Bastion comp. I just think that they were a bit too aggressive with the Bastion. They didn't seem to have a lot of experience playing the Bastion.
Well, also playing that Bastion into that Zarya and Junkrat. And...
Playing it to Jaehong.
But the thing is, you're playing a Diva, right, versus a Junkrat, so you're kind of happy. You're playing Mercy and Anna.
I actually liked Sensotics on Diva on that last attack.
Yeah.
He did a really good job in keeping the Mercy alive. There were several like defense matrices where I was like,
I think it looked promising.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was promising.
Sure.
Yeah.
If they practice
You
this
go,
right
girl.
combo with
You go, girl.
You go, girl.
Yeah,
Get
sure.
that there.
No, Sabilio was actually doing a really good job on the McCree of like consistently being a threat from many different angles that you really couldn't pin him down. And so, yeah, Sensotix was consistently on McCree due to making sure to know where he was and making sure that his defense matrix wasn't down, because there were so many points where the Mercy was like one shot away from dying. So kept it alive for the most part.
Yeah, and here we see some of the replays. This was the Volskaya pick from the Polish, or excuse me, not the Polish team, the Austrian team. And one has to wonder, you know, like, I get what they were trying to go for here, right? Like, this was just kind of a, you know, like something that they're comfortable with, right? Maybe not. At
Well,
this
they
point,
pulled out
that's
the
just,
Sombra, right?
Yeah, and they had
I was
Sombra,
happy-
and that's what they thought that they were going to get out of it.
Yeah, and I was happy to see the Sombra. I mean, I talked about this earlier. I would like to see the Sombra being played. They did play it, though, with a single support, and that means you kind of have to force your dives pretty much, and it's a lot harder. So they pulled out the Sombra, yeah, and I was happy to see it, but not in the capacity I was hoping for.
Yeah, but again, the Torbjorn plays, I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
You know, it was a thing,
Something which happened.
and we saw it, and now we have to live with it forever.
Yeah, we have to put some cooling on some bruises and move on to the next game.
Yeah, indeed. And the next game was Dorado. So that, you know, was again, you know, we saw some great Junkrat plays from, I mean, really, the diversity that Flower has here is just unbelievable. I mean, this guy is awesome.
Yeah, initially when I was introduced to him, Flower, he used to play under the handle Nanohana, and he played a lot of Genji. He was known as a Genji one-trick for the longest time, and then he just kept adding on to his hero pool. And the thing is, he's still a young player. I believe he's 17 years old. He had to have a Guardian here with him in Poland, and he's just showing that, you know, the sky's the limit for this guy. If he can bust out 5 separate characters and show massive skill with them.
Yeah, in many ways, he's just one of those guys you compare with like Tvik and Sør-Korea. I even said Tvik's name wrong now.
Wow.
On the desk.
Wow.
It's Tvik. It's Tvik. I'm just going to make that clear, right? But it's one of those guys you compare with those two because he has like these deep hero pools and can just perform on so many characters. So the Korean Tvik and the Korean Sør-Korea really showcasing all these hero picks with Hansos and Torbjorn. He's a Hanso main now.
Yeah, if there's one criticism that I have to give for South Korea, it's a high five game is just weak, dog.
It
you
is
know,
weak.
like, look, this is how you do a proper high five, right? Check it out.
All
Right, look at my elbow.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's what was the
How was
lock?
the-
That's
how
the
was the
lock.
hold
It's
on
a
to it?
European thing to do. You know.
If something is good, you have to hold on to it, right?
Never let go. Never let go.
But yeah, it's
That's
the
how you
weak
high
points.
five, South Korea. Look at the elbows. You got this, baby. I believe in you, okay? And that's advice for any child that's out there watching this stream, you know?
Again,
little
education
Johnny back
right
in
there.
Montana's like,
I can high five somebody.
you know, and there you go. Golden Boy's here to teach you, baby. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here at the desk. We have another game coming up, though. It's going to be Canada facing off against Turkey, so you're not going to want to miss that one. We'll catch you on the other side.
Always remember that power is a double-edged blade. One side light, the other dark. It calls to you when you are most desperate. When victory seems worth any sacrifice. There is a price to be paid for such a gift. And many eagerly accept the bargain. The righteous and the meek may recoil at its cost. But they have no vision. Power alone is not to be feared. Fear instead those who wield it.
The Overwatch World Cup 2017 is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, and Blizzard Entertainment.
Welcome back, everyone. As we return, it's time to begin some Group F action. We saw Group A play out there, 2 4-0s for the Netherlands and South Korea, if you haven't had a chance to catch those games yet. And now we move on to our second group here in Katowice. And we're going to kick things off with Canada versus Turkey. These two teams that, you know, for Canada, there's a lot of play. I mean, look, I was there at E3 and I introduced them on the stage. They are a great team. There was a lot of, you know, sunlight on the stage. I don't know if you guys know about that.
Yeah, really
so
don't.
we had to introduce I had to introduce the American team, and then the Canadian team was their opponent. And they came out to the stage and played, and it was just really funny because like we were playing outside in the middle of California,
as one
like
does,
100 degree weather. So that was an experience. They'll tell you all about it later. Anyway, let's just go ahead and refocus here. Here's Group F: Canada, Russia, Singapore, and Turkey. So, all right, let's kick it off with the Canadians here. What can you tell me about the squad?
Well, technically, they're not really guys who really need an introduction. It's a superstar-studded lineup we have here from Canada. And for once, I mean, the last two stops, we've already seen it. We saw those really famous players, but the roles weren't really settled. This team has their roles cut out for them. So they all have a game plan, they know what they're playing, and they're all comfortable. The only one who had to kind of switch something up is Mangachu, as he will be playing their diva. He didn't seem super thrilled about it, but the team was like, you're gonna be fine. So I assume he's gonna be fine, and I think Canada seemed very confident so far.
And then what do you have for me on the Turkish side, James?
So one of the things I really love about Turkish, when we were able to sit down and talk with them, is that they're really passionate about their local scene. You know, a lot of the guys are very involved. They've created their own community on different platforms where they set up pubs and they bring people in to really show what high-level Overwatch looks like throughout the rest of the world. And so I love that story about them, that they are that involved. And, you know, they enter into this event really just trying to highlight Turkey and try to bring more awareness of Overwatch in that country.
Very similar to what you said, right, with the goals.
The goals, yeah. Like we said earlier, it's a group with no room for error, really. You want to get that first place spot, so you don't have to face South Korea and get handed to you like you see.
Exhibit A.
It looks rough, man. So I think that Turkey, their goals really should be at least to make top 2, you know. I think that they would be happy, you know, getting that playoff spot and maybe face South Korea. Maybe good practice to build that Turkish esports scene. Yeah. What do I know? No, but I think if Turkey can create some chaos in this group, it's going to be really fun to see how it turns out, whether Russia or Canada will make first place.
Very, very true. All right, guys. Well, it is time to get into it. It is Turkey facing off against Canada.
Here enters.
Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. I thought we were told the video was ready.
I hoped we have more time together.
I hope we have more time together. Actually,
no,
you know what?
It's nice.
Let's own it. Let's get it. Let's own this the awkward silence.
I'm ready.
And let's talk about this real fast.
Let's talk about the silence. Let's talk about the silence for a minute, please.
Golden. Okay, you know what? Refocus here. You mentioned Canada was a star-studded lineup there.
True.
XQC is a character.
He is, and I was super surprised to see that he's exactly how he is on stream. I mean, he's super talkative, hyper, and he's like, woo!
It's really endearing.
It is really cute, actually. I'd adopt him instantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just happens to be the same in real life, so that was a pleasant surprise. And they're nice guys. I mean, they're Canadians, right? They're supposed to be super nice.
Yeah, I'm looking out to see how they perform on stage. XQC being this very energetic guy, and maybe it's too much, maybe it's too overpowering on that stage. Just going to be interesting to see how their team chemistry is going. I mean, we just saw South Korea very calm, and they just take their fights very cautiously. I'm a bit scared for Canada here. If XQC, gets on his toes and is just trying to do too much on the stage, maybe the pressure gets to him. I think he needs to remain calm, let Joe Meister dictate the pace of the game.
Talking about the stage, fun fact, this is actually Mangachu's first LAN experience. I didn't know that. Now everyone knows it. It's rough.
Yeah. And he's playing a role that he's not too comfortable.
Yeah, he said if anyone is going to let the team down, it's going to be him. I don't know.
Oh, God.
That
was maybe humble Mangachu.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that humble Mangachu, or was he... It might be a case of like pre-made excuses, so you have them ready for later. My knee hurts, I go running, I really do well, then I did well despite my knee hurting. Or if I don't do well, then, well, my knee was hurting, right? So that's kind of what you do.
You should get your knee checked out.
Yeah, I should. But then I am running, then I don't have an excuse anymore for bad performances.
Fair point.
You gotta,
Fair point.
The thing with Canada is, though, despite Mangachu not having that LAN experience, the rest of the team does. Even with agilities, he's 17 years old, and he's been playing Overwatch for the last year. He's gone to, I believe, 2 or 3 major LAN so far, right, over the course of the last year, and one of them, I believe it was Winter Premiere earlier this year, back in January. So for being 17 years old, he's a really highly accomplished and experienced LAN player.
Yeah, but we'll see how he does on his role here. I mean, back in Immortals, he's playing and diving together with Fate, probably one of the best Winstons in the world. And here's, wow, now I'm really talking down XQC when I'm going to bring up this point. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is maybe it's a bit harder in this Canada environment to structure those dives and shine. So I think Agilities has to step up as well and take some responsibility here on his national team, see how it plays out for them.
Yeah, well, guys, now we are ready to go. So it's going to be Canada facing off against Turkey. And here they come, both teams making their way out right now, and there's the squad ready to get this one going. With the slow walkout too. Look at that.
Canada is a pretty tall team, man. I just noticed.
Yeah, except for Sure4.
Except for Sure4.
Someone has to track him down.
Yeah, it's like too big for you guys. Someone's got to level it out.
They have Mangachu, leading the way, and then they have Sure4 in the back.
Wow.
I'm seeing a little discord so far coming out from Team Canada. Only half of them have the diva makeup on right now.
So the coordination isn't there. That's, you know what? That could be their
downfall.
Their downfall. That's the ultimate downfall, really. I mean, to be honest, though, those guys are all having commitments to an actual team. So scrimming for them and preparing for this event was actually quite hard. And they didn't get in as much prep time as some other teams actually did.
Yeah, it's very true. And there you see the roster there. But, I mean, this is a squad that has so much just talent across the board that I'm not too concerned about them not feeling like they didn't get enough practice. And furthermore, they I believe they scrimmed South Korea quite a bit.
Yeah, they said that the second time went a lot better.
Yes, yeah, which, I mean, that's as far as we'll go on that.
But they said it went better, so
yeah.
I think so.
I didn't ask him.
Sure. He said, okay, so what he said basically, when they scrimped against South Korea, first they did encounter Junkrat and everything, so they were like, oh my god, serious troll picks. However, the second day when they scrimped against South Korea here in Poland, they said that they managed to force South Korea onto meta picks, and that's already a big achievement for them.
I mean, that really is, but I mean, taking a look at this Turkish squad, once again, I just love their passion, especially bringing in local esports and really growing out their community. You know, one of the troubling things is they were telling us how right before this event, they actually had to replace 2 players, so they're already playing at a disadvantage up against this really star-studded roster, like you had mentioned, Zoe.
Yeah, missing out on they call it the Turkish version of Shadowburn.
Yeah.
And that's quite the title, if I must say so myself. John Cena, and it's not a wrestler. That'd be
we
quite
had to
a
fit
sight.
one in there.
I want to see John Cena play Genji.
Well, we're definitely not going to see him, so...
Oh, no! You were...
Ouch.
I had to do it.
You were the
I
worst.
had to go for it.
Do you know about
I
John
cracked.
Cena? Are you familiar?
Yes,
with
thank
the
you.
Kansas
Jesus
City?
Christ.
I'm just letting you know, Zoe, because sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what they have in Switzerland. You know,
Switzerland,
Switzerland
well,
or Paris.
Money.
Money.
That's all we got, sir. Representing you.
It's just you're crushing it right now. Oh man! All right. Well, the players are getting ready to go here. I mean, we kind of highlighted, you know, both squads and how they're going to, you know, like what their strengths, what their weaknesses, you know, could potentially be coming into this one. Coming off of that South Korea matchup and Reinforce, this is going to be a question for you.
Oof, I'm ready.
You know,
Bring it on.
Do they learn some stuff from there, or do they learn some things,
Well,
or you know?
Stage experience. I mean,
Yeah.
stage experience is very rare now in Overwatch, the Overwatch scene currently. So, I mean, that's something I value and rate really highly. So, yeah, stage experience, something that actually Turkey has. I mean, Hex played Team Fortress 2 previously. Attended a few Insomnia LANs back in England. So,
Yeah.
he has this stage experience, which Canada doesn't have. Maybe a pro going in the favor of Turkey.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I think, you know, they have an opportunity to really shock everyone. And we have seen teams be very overconfident coming into these group stages and then ultimately get brought down a couple notches because of that overconfidence here. Do you think Canada, you know, could fall into that trap potentially?
I hope not, honestly. And I don't think that the types of player are, I don't want to say arrogant enough, but I do think they don't really underestimate other teams. And looking at Turkey, if you're looking at the individual players, they all played together prior to this tournament. A lot of them have been in the same teams within Turkey. I think 5 of them have been playing in the same team, so they are familiar with each other. That does count for something. That's definitely something to not underestimate.
Yeah, right. You just have to be very cautious because of what we've seen in previous stops already here. In Turkey, I mean, hey, who knows, right? This could be their standout moment. We heard Japan tell us, oh, no, we're not that great, and yet they were contending for BlizzCon.
Yeah, and we saw earlier today, actually, in Netherlands versus Poland. Poland coming out real strong. It looked like, you know, there were a few points where they might have full-held Netherlands. So you do have to give everyone respect. There's no reason why you should be underestimating anyone, especially after our last 2 stops. You just cannot do that. So, you know, Canada has to come with full respect up against Turkey. And, like, Turkey, you just, as the underdog, you know, you have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. That's where you just throw everything on the wall and hope something sticks. So we might see some wonky compositions coming out for them that you never know with these underdogs.
Yeah, especially in a game such as Overwatch is so volatile in terms of how you put together a team. So, I mean, we know that some of these players are really sick. Like Nykto has a really good Zenyatta, and then you have Yaga on the projectile role, which is most known for Genji, and then Hex on the Tracer. So, I mean, they can just throw these players together in a team. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they just come out on top. Maybe they do an Argentina or a Japan. We'll have to see.
Yeah, anything is possible here, you know, at the Overwatch World Cup. Really looking forward to seeing how they perform. The thing that does concern me about Turkey, though, is that they, you know, their communication could end up being an issue here if they're not careful. And I think for Canada, they're going to focus on that big time. They're going to make sure that their shot calling is on point. Yeah,
they really have to. And I think when we talked to Turkey prior to today, they did say that they're still trying out different shot callers within the team.
Yeah.
And a day before the tournament starts, I don't think that's really the time to try out some various different shot callers, but who knows? Maybe they found the right one now and are ready to rumble against Canada there. Why is Sure4 always looking so dreamy? I just
It's the hair.
The eyes.
What is it? The eyes?
Yes.
It's, I really don't know. It's just the, it's just all the thing. I mean, look at the small
And he's
claps
like
there.
a clap. Wow.
You know, I don't know.
He's feeling it. He's just feeling it.
He's showing appreciation for the team. That's great.
All right,
I like
guys.
it.
Well, now let's go ahead and get into the action. It's going to be Canada versus Turkey, and who better to take you through this game than Monte Cristo and Doa?
That's right. Who better, Golden Boy, indeed. Doa and Monte Cristo here to guide you. Be your sort of shamans, if you will, through this journey.
Through this vision quest
That's
of
right.
Overwatch, right?
We will learn more. We'll become enlightened through Canada versus Turkey. And
As
Turkey,
both teams find their spirit animal, right?
Yeah, that's right. What's your spirit animal?
I don't know, man, but Canada's is probably a beaver, right?
You don't know what
Or
your
a
spirit
moose.
animal is?
No, I haven't done that kind of vision quest, but maybe I'll learn by the end of this match.
All right. Well, mine is a turtle.
I was going to guess
into a ninja turtle.
Marmot.
Marmot? Maybe. Could be. Trapdoor spider.
That'd be a pretty cool. That'd be a pretty cool spirit animal.
It would be neat. Well, it's going to be an interesting one. We're starting out on Hollywood, guys. Turkey, obviously, I think you could say coming into this one as a bit of an underdog. Canada, they have a pretty stacked roster, actually, for this tournament.
Yeah, they do, and all professional players as well. So when you look at Turkey, Hex really the only full-time player on this roster right now, so certainly will be difficult. Hollywood is going to be selected by Canada as the first map, and it looks like we are going to see defense from Canada first. Rolf on the Ana.
Yep.
And playing a pretty straight-up dive composition here. Turkey at least maybe looking for a potential initial pickoff.
I would say so.
Hex, nope, going to switch off the Widowmaker immediately. So will be looking like some pretty standard dive from both teams. Of course, the exception of the Ana instead of the Zenyatta, but we do see Ana very frequently here because of how easy it is to defend the top of Cafe.
I'm still recovering from Austria, Korea, man. I don't know what's meta anymore. What's real, what's not real. My universe is turned upside down. Turkey, though, diving in, trying to get something going on, but they lose their Winston early. Canada set up for a pretty easy defense this time around, it looks like.
Yeah, Sure4 actually cleaning up the supports after the dive went in. So Zenyatta cut off from the rest of the Turkish roster. Stagger coming through now onto the Diva, not even going to finally get the kill at the end there. That'll delay some time as Alfred has to go back into the respawn.
Yep. But, you know, some of these early pushes can be a bit economy-centric here for the attacking team. Turkey building up some ultimates. Canada a little bit in the lead in that category, though. Yaga just biding his time.
Yeah, it looks like they're actually going to take the high ground this time. So trying to take a different approach, very up their attack.
Whoa.
And they're going to go right back into the bottom of the Cafe this time.
That was a good biotic grenade from Canada.
Was very good.
Yeah, pushed Turkey back a little bit. It was unsafe to do the dive without any potential healing for a bit. But Yaga does get behind the team. Rolf may be in a bit of trouble. Now gets pushed out again. XQC does get the kill on the Nikto. And slowly but surely, Turkey maybe a bit pushed back here. Alfred popped out of the Diva mech, and the loss of that defensive matrix is a big deal for Turkey, and that's going to lead to Canada with the cleanup, despite Hex staying alive for quite a while.
And XQZ actually getting the kill onto Hex at the end, stalling out with his Winston leap way up in the air. And that means that Canada has a chance to reset right now. Just the pulse bomb used by Sure4. Canada looking at 5 ultimates to Turkey's 1 right now, though Sretler and Yaga will be coming up on theirs shortly. This should be a pretty explosive attack here.
Yeah, I think so. This is their moment. Like, this is what they've kind of been waiting for. How is the setup going to work, though? A lot of poking. Canada playing very defensive inside the Cafe. Yaga in position. But they know he's there. We'll see. Going to start to try to get a bit of control meter building. That's going to draw Canada out again. Here we go. Dragon Blade comes
hit
in.
by the bionic grenade
man.
again. Rolf lends a clutch ability to shut down the Dragon Blade immediately.
Rolf was so ready for that both times. Edwin comes in. Primal Rage done now, and he has not much support inside the Cafe. Canada pulling out way ahead in this fight. And that's going to be another win. Agility's with the cleanup.
Nice reflect on the headshot.
Yep.
On the Nikto there, so easy cleanup for Team Canada. They use 3 ults, and they have the rest in store right now, especially that Nano Blade. They're going to try and cut through this Transcendence if they can find any stragglers around the edges.
Turkey doesn't really have a great couple ultimates to use for this attack, too. I mean, self-destruct plus Transcendence, not a lot of synergy you can really make happen with that.
But
they use the self-destruct early on. Rolf does go down. Agility is coming out. Now he's got the Dragon Blade. Open season to maybe get something done.
Back,
no.
though.
Yeah, Transcendence up as well. Joe Meister falls. Turkey may have the successful attack they're looking for here, and as Agilities goes down, I think it's definitely looking like this payload might get rolling.
Alfred got the key pick to start that fight. Rolf was killed before he had an opportunity to use the nano boost onto Agilities. Agilities attempted to try and get a dash reset, but was booped away.
Yeah.
And so couldn't really participate in that fight at all. Lackluster Dragon Blade from Agilities as a result, and Canada is not going to get the full hold. Turkey with 3 minutes to push it through point B.
Yeah, they bought a bit of time, but it certainly could have been better on the defense for Canada. Turkey with the payload moving now. And Canada is trying to grab that high ground maybe. Are they getting up there? Hard to see. No, they're taking the low ground for now. Rolf kind of on his own. Has a little bit of appeal there, but not enough. Wow, I can't believe he actually survived. Surefour and XQC coming in to protect their supports at the last moment. And Turkey may be stalled out a little bit here, or at least won't be able to push the payload as far as they wanted to early on.
Turkey is really not playing around the biotic grenade very well. They keep getting into situations where Rolf is able just to throw it at his feet, and they get the healing buff and debuff simultaneously across both teams. So not really the best play so far. They need to keep a better idea of the cooldown on that ability and make sure that the value really isn't there for Team Canada.
Well, Rolf, you know, he kind of came up in last year's World Cup, playing a great Ana right now, though. Sound barrier for Turkey as they try to get the payload moving. Surefour with an early kill on Nikto, though, found him in the back line. And Yaga, that's a primal rage out of XQC. XQC going very deep, but it pays off. Yaga does go down. But yeah, just going back to Rolf, it's been cool to see his career kind of evolve over the last year now.
Rolf actually switches over to the Zenyatta. Of course, we're praising his Ana play, but looking now to get the Orb of Discord down and focus some of these targets. Yaga's not going to have the protection of the sound barrier on this next push, although Nikto may be able to get a Transcendence up in time. Surefour sneaking around the side, trying to pick off that Discord target. Moving again.
Nothing with that pulse bomb on the Turkey side. Surefour has his to work with. Fighting the Tracer duel right now, has to back away, uses recall earlier. Gets taken down though by Yaga. There's a Transcendence for Turkey. Really trying to push this payload forward, and so far so good. Canada has to kind of regroup. They don't want to fight that fight, a man down.
Yeah, that's still actually a pretty big win for Canada in terms of ults that were taken away from the Turkish side. Trance and Dragon Blade down, and this is going to be where Canada wants to hold.
Yeah, Agility's getting close to that Dragon Blade. Getting in the back line now. Without the Diva, there's just not a whole lot that Turkey can do to stop him. You know, or maybe just that. Maybe they just kill him, I guess. Never mind. Caster curse him there a little bit. Sorry about that.
Turkey actually still dealing some damage right now. They're trying to get back. Surefour still on the card. It is a support duel. That'll be Rolf winning.
A little bit of supportal combat. Rolf gets the fatality. Double kill actually for that Zenyatta. And now with just 15 seconds left, Turkey is scrambling here.
This is the hold that they wanted the entire time. Surefour looking for the pickoff with a pulse bomb right now. Is going to find Hex on the side.
That's big.
In combination with XQC. Everybody trying to get onto the cart right now from Turkey.
Vulnerable Zenyatta doesn't get stuck, gets killed anyway. Surefour with the crucial kill on the Nikto. That's one support down. Here comes the sound barrier for Canada as they try to finish off this defense, and it looks like they will do it in style.
That's one of those opportunities, Doa, that if you are Canada, you are happy with giving up a little room on the payload because it makes your defense so ironclad at the end of the cart. You get the support ultimate out, you get the Dragon Blade out, and then you know where you can invest in defense. So smart play, good shot calling from Canada there.
Well, just good play all around. To me, though, you know, no support bias here, but Rolf really stood out. Great Ana play. Those biotic grenades were perfect. And then on the Zenyatta, just really hitting the shots he needed to do. And really encouraging to see for Canada.
Certainly, Rolf has long been one of the better Western supports, and you see him coming through with his teammate Surefour here.
He's also got
an
awesome real name, Randall Stark.
It is a fantastic real name.
I suppose because he's from Canada, he really could be king in the north.
They support king in the north at the very least.
That's right. Well, supports our king.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they the kings of Overwatch?
Absolutely. We decide who lives and who dies, Monte Cristo.
That is an excellent argument for them being the kings of Overwatch.
I don't think there's much dispute you can really bring against that, against the claim we have to the throne.
And all the DPS are merely your puppets.
That's right, absolutely. We're like, go forth, my minions, and if you perform well, I shall heal you.
That's more what you say to tanks, isn't it, though?
That too, both DPS and tanks. I'll bestow my golden orb upon you.
I hope you
May you please me as it floats above you.
I hope you talk to your teammates like that in voice comms, though.
I do. Prepare, my minions, for soon we venture forth. Oh, yes.
Too good.
Too easy. No, we already saw him today.
Yeah, I think he's
match.
He's done for today. Already picked up his 4 map wins.
Yeah, looking good on Netherlands.
3 divas, of course, on the side of... Yeah, I thought there was a 1 hero limit right now, but...
And a couple of them are wearing diva makeup, too. I'll be here for 3 days. That's right. I'm just waiting for XQC to like pick out his cell phone and go start streaming the audience.
Yeah, he is.
In the middle of the game. It's my job, guys. I got to do this. Here we go. Canada on the offense now. Turkey going to try to hold them, and it's going to be tough. I mean, Canada doesn't need to push it that far. You do see those point A holds from time to time, and Turkey certainly not giving up easily on attack.
Sør-Korea has skating around the side of the limousine. They're trying to bottle everybody up. Canada mostly just poking right now, and that's Yaga going down. He's the only one on the top of the cafe.
It's a good start. Sør-Korea looking for a victim. Has to recall to get a bit of health back, but meanwhile, his team just kind of tearing apart Turkey. XQC does go down, but the advantage certainly on the side of Canada right now.
Yeah, and the point ticking up right now. Everybody from Turkey just in the bottom side of the cafe. They can't find those angles, and finally Agilities will cut Sør-Korea down.
Wow.
On the top side of the point, Hex is going to have to get onto the cart right now just to stop this point from capping, and it's going to be a little too late.
Yeah, and if they can get these picks on the members of Turkey that are pretty far forward, that could be some extra pushing power.
And that's a long time now. Over 5 minutes to push it, not even really towards the end of point B.
You may want to back off a little bit here.
No. He's got to go for the bomb kill, you know?
Well, I mean, don't come out the bottom door is what I'm saying. Got to be a little bit cautious.
All right, looking for that pick right now.
Crazy chandelier there.
Trying to wait for his teammate. Sees Nikto on the side, but he is seen in return. Does take a small amount of chip damage, so he's not going to have that angle, but he does at least zone them out right now. They're aware of the threat that he's presenting, and here we go. Agilities has that Dragon Blade.
Edwin going in way too early and paying for it. Agilities in the back line now with the Dragon Blade. Transcendence comes out, but there's already been 2 kills on the side of Canada. Make that 3. Make it more even. And nice reflect from Agilities. Putting the icing on the cake, and that payload is moving nearly to the end already. This may actually end up being a pretty quick map.
Nobody's on the cart right now. Finally getting back on. It was a bit spotty there. His roll not quite there yet. So
that's so excited.
Yeah, they're going to get the push going right now. Will be one more opportunity at least for Turkey to defend, but they have to win every fight from here on out.
That's right, desperation for Turkey. They do have some ults to work with. They're going to start with the sound barrier. There's a Dragon Blade as well. Hex does go down. That's not what Turkey wants. They do get a return kill here. But meanwhile, the payload still more or less occupied by, Turkey.
Yeah, they are. They had the big ult advantage, and they knew they needed to commit it. Primal Rage, sound barrier, and the Dragon Blade all going down for Turkey. But that's, again, a pretty big win for Canada because they're going to be able to develop their ult economy, and they've got over 3.5 minutes to do it.
Well, they've just got time. That's the thing, is that they can lose this fight. Not a big deal. Get some ults back. Agilities kind of playing with danger a little bit here, but Edwin again. I've seen this a couple times now. Edwin going up a little bit too far on that Winston and paying for it. That's going to open the door for Canada to possibly end this one right here.
I mean, Agilities is just cutting them down one by one right now. Desperation time on the card. Sound barrier did its work, and that's going to be it. So Canada will go ahead and take Hollywood with relative ease.
XQC
booping himself.
Yeah, with his nose there, I guess. Yeah. Don't know what scent plays, what role scent plays in Overwatch really at this point, but hey, the nose knows. So, Canada, with a pretty convincing win here in game number 1, Turkey. I mean, they had decent defenses from time to time. They had decent fights. Certainly we do see some individual talent on this team too, but what stood out to me on that map was just the coordination. Edwin, a lot of times, especially on the defensive round, was just going in too early.
Yeah.
And, part of that maybe was a little bit of, on his part, but you do have to credit Agilities a lot, I think, to drawing him back. Agilities was great at baiting out the Winston dive.
Yeah, and you do see some differences in terms of the player style. Agilities, obviously played well for the most part. Oh, God, it's going to get dizzy now. But he has playing a different style. They talked about this a little bit at the desk, but the way that he plays on Immortals with Fate, who has transitioned into being the primary shot caller of that Immortals roster, you see him going in with his Winston a lot, and basically simultaneously with the Dragon Blade, and Fate is used to using that initiation with the Genji, and XQC and Agilities not really with that same level of synergy yet, so Agilities has had to adjust his style, playing a little bit further back with the Dragon Blade, and at times he did struggle a little bit with that ability, particularly when Turkey was able to capture that first point on Hollywood.
Yeah. The Diva tattoos on the face seem to scream, is this easy mode?
Is that what they're signifying right now?
Maybe. I don't know.
I thought they were just trying to channel some of the power of South Korea from the last match.
That's probably a good idea, man. I didn't see any Junkrat getting played, though. No Hanzo McCree comps either, unfortunately.
That was something to watch, though. That was something else.
South Korea's like, your ladder that you're so fond of? Well, we're here to ruin it. Get ready for the McCree Junkrat Hanzo meta. I mean, it kind of already exists, depending on the elo that you're in.
That's right.
My elo is kind of there already, yeah. But we're going to Lijiang Tower for our control map here. Let's see if Canada can get the 2-0 lead or if Turkey can tie things up.
Yeah, interesting that we're going to see Lijiang. Now, this might be a better opportunity for the Turkish squad to make some waves. A lot of the time when it gets to control, which tends to be a little bit more brawly, mechanical based, that's when teams that maybe don't have the same level of coordination can hang better with teams that are generally superior on the other map types.
True enough. And we may actually see the pharmacy coming out for Turkey. Hex on the Mercy, Alfred on the Pharah. No, swapping it up though. Oh well.
It was so close, though.
It was so close.
It's back to dive, though. We had one map of lots of Reinhardt. I can't remember the last time I saw so much Reinhardt versus Reinhardt.
Yeah, no kidding.
Guess what's good against South Korea?
Junkrat, man. Junkrat. All right, well, here we go. Fight on the point already on Night Market. XQC biding his time. Turkey a little bit on the outside here. You got to be careful if you're that Winston. Yeah, it gets pretty low. Ooh, doesn't matter. He's going over the top.
He's playing the big health back, though, that he was looking for by hopping over the wall. Instead, he's going to have to go back in at lower HP.
Yeah, puts the shield right down. Yaga nearly gets taken out, has to back away. Good start. There's the big health pack on the other side for XQC. And Canada's going to be able to grab the point first.
And Yaga comes back in. I think he probably should just fallen back right there. Wanted to delay it as much as he can, but on Genji, you just don't have the HP to last that much longer. And now, actually, you've staggered for the rest of your team pretty badly. He died very late on, so I think a bit of a missed shot call there from Turkey.
Yeah. All right. Turkey trying to reclaim the point. Good start. XQC dies. Without that Winston, it's going to be tough for Canada to hold it. There's a Dragon Blade coming out as well. Used on the side for Yaga.
Yaga did get enough damage down to have a very fast blade up, but Nikto also picked up 2 on that one, so Nikto making a difference, but it's just not quite enough. Agilities resting on a Dragon Blade of his own right now.
Well, I mean, they did flip it, so they are getting some control percent building up here. Agilities, though. All right. Oh, all right. He's a ninja. Don't worry, guys. He's a ninja. He can survive this. Okay, he can't. Maybe can't survive this. Oh, so close. I was going to be impressed right there.
Yeah, Rolf gets Nikto in the end, but looking at this, that was another opportunity. Both Genji players, Yaga and Agilities, dying very late and giving up quite a bit of control percentage to their opponents. This time, so again, we see Surefire coming around. Hex actually gets it onto Joe Meister. Joe Meister didn't actually... Oh, okay, we saw the sound barrier come through from Suretler. That was the sound cue.
Yep. Couple kills already for the side of Team Canada. They did lose Joe Meister early, like you said, but he's still got that sound barrier to bring in later, and the rest of his team. Oh, nice! Alfred taken out before he gets back in the mech. That's a team kill. and that is a point flip in favor of Canada.
Nice coordination and communication from Canada. Surefour was waiting for Nikto to respawn after Rolf killed him initially. So as he was coming back, trying to rejoin his team and have an effect in that fight, quickly denied. Agility's still going to be sitting here with the Dragon Blade. They retained their sound barrier as well.
Yep. Here we go, Turkey with the big attack. Agility's outweighting that Transcendence. Gets the kill on the Nikto when it ends. Goes back in again. Tries to find Yago, who's pretty low health right now. Down to about half. Forced out either way. And Agility's like, this health pack's mine, man. And all the kills are mine, too.
And this death is also mine eventually.
Agilities, please. No, you're not living up to your name right there.
Well, they did D-back Alfred, so it is going to be a delayed attack, and because he went so far and stopped them more towards their spawn, he should be able to get back in time. Alfred actually just had to go back to spawn, I think, to remech. So...
All right, here we go again. Ooh, Edwin going very aggressive here. Man, that's deep. He's got the Primal Rage. He's going to use it to try to disrupt Canada, create room for his team to come in. Mangachu in the side here. He's got the self-destruct if he needs to use it. If he needs to buy a bit more time for Canada here. Yaga gets one with the Dragon Blade. Self-destruct comes in. Canada getting a few more. XQC going wild with the Primal Rage. Pun intended. And Canada should be able to win this round right here.
Yeah, team kill at the end, and Surefour.
He lived.
Puts a party bomb.
The boy who lived.
On the ground.
Yeah. Have a ball. All right, Canada.